Eric Henry. Alongside me is Matt Angio and Joey DeCosler, with both our Riverside Brookfield High School students. And we're here live, Riverside Brookfield High School, ready for kickoff. A little bit early here. We thought we were going to be kicking off at 7:15, but we're good up and ready to go here at 7 p.m. at the start of the high school playoff season. And guys, you guys know how big this game is for Riverside Brookfield. They've been looking forward to it for 1 year. You guys, thoughts from the RB perspective?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You got Stefan Gaminski in the back along with Nick Delnodell on the kick return that we're going to see here. And they're going to set up that ball. But, of course, the Bulldogs coming into this game at the end of the regular season, overall record of 8-1 and a conference record of 5-1. National ranking at 2,631 with a state rank of 110.
Joey, what are your thoughts on the matchup tonight?
Bulldogs come back this year against Lake Forest in the playoffs. Last year they got killed by them. This year
40-7.
Going to come back for a little vengeance and see it happen tonight.
For those of you watching at home, thank you for joining us here on Frequency Sports, on Frequency TV once again. I am Eric Henry. Alongside me is Matt Angio and Joey DeCosler. Just for point of reference, you'll be hearing our voices throughout the evening, and we're ready to go from the Kennedy Athletic Complex here at Riverside Brookfield. Kickoff is coming right now. Ball is up and away. And it looks like it'll be Vaya on the return.
Stefan
Gaminski, excuse me. You're correct.
It's to the 40.
Up to about the 40-yard line.
Good start.
For those of you at home, we're here at Riverside Brookfield. Head coach of Riverside Brookfield is Brendan Curtin. He's in his 6th season with a record of 34-25. This is his 4th straight playoff appearance. He is a Riverside Brookfield alum, and their home record this year was 3-1. Opposing them tonight will be the Lake Forest Scouts, whose head coach is Chuck Spagnoli. We'll bring you in on their starters and coaches after this play. Quarterback is number 10, Hunter Hughes, Riverside Brookfield. They'll be starting about the 40-yard line.
4 wide receiver Stefan Gaminski. He's got that ball. He's going up. Doesn't get much of a gain on the yardage.
It's a gain up to about the 45, 46-yard line. Just put that point of reference again for Lake Forest. They are the Scouts. They're coached by Chuck Spagnoli, who was a longtime Lake Forest coach. He's been there since 1983, but is in his 15th season as the head coach. Their offensive coordinator is Phil DeWald, defensive coordinator Ryan Carney, and in typical Brendan Curtin fashion, they're back up to the line, ready to go. 2nd down.
Hey, look at that defense from Lake Forest. Looks like Hunter Hughes went in for the QB sneak.
Didn't get much there, but you guys did say tonight for Hughes, was looking for the play action tonight, correct?
Yeah, play action pass. That's Hunter Hughes almost every game. We've seen that from previous games, and we know that he can calculate on that every single time. He can get that play action pass off and quick.
He could sneak the ball, too. It just didn't work that time. He's done it a couple times.
Be 3rd and 7 in shotgun, 4 receiver set for Riverside Brookfield.
Very nice.
Stefan Gaminski.
Gaminski's going. He's taking off up to about the 30. He's go up to about the 21-yard line. He'll be knocked out of bounds. It's a 1st down for Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, guys, that's a little bit of that example from Hunter Hughes, that shotgun pass he also has. He's got that quick bullet pass that he can get off. You see a lot of that in Madden.
Absolutely. He's got a quick release, and like we noted a second ago, that's typical of the Brendan Curtin offense. He's a guy whose offense is average over 30 points a game. This is his 8th straight year of his offense, averaging over 30 points a game. It's a quick strike offense, and they're back at it right here. He's got the snap looking. Rolling out to about his right, and he'll be stopped at about the 26-yard line. But yeah, for those of you watching home tonight, that's what you can expect from Brendan Curtin. He was offensive coordinator at Nazareth for 9 seasons. His offenses there did average over 30 points a game, and he's brought that trend over here to Riverside Brookfield. So it'll be a fast-paced game tonight.
Yeah, we could be seeing a lot of Brendan Curtin switching up those plays, running and passing. It seems to be that he's not really running that much in the early plays with Nick Delnodell as much. He seems to be giving it to Hunter Hughes and letting him run, but we'll see what happens throughout the game.
And last week we did see a lot of Nick Delnodell, but you're right. We are seeing a different offense coming out. Let's take a look. 2nd down. Who's dropping? Looking in the end zone. The pass.
Too far.
Go ahead. You can call out, Joe.
You said like last week Nick Delnodell had a good game. Last week he had a 73-yard touchdown run against that, so he knows how to run the ball.
And that was up on the opening drive. That pass a little too far there for Hunter Hughes. But yeah, Matt, you noted it, that this is a departure. Look at they're coming out here throwing and maybe looking to, maybe last year is kind of fresh in their mind, saying, hey, we want to strike early so we don't have a 40-7 ball game here.
Yep, exactly. I mean, throughout the whole season, that was their game plan: strike early and get ahead very fast.
This is going to be pressured. Pass is going to be dropped off that Stefan Gaminski. He's breaking about the 20-yard line. He's really close down to the first yard.
29.
20, yeah, see if he can get the 1st down yardage there. It's going to be close.
Yeah, and we know Bulldogs are about in the red zone. We know that they dominate in the red zone.
Well, it looks like it brought up 4th down. It's 4th and 2 for those of you watching at home. You see that replay of Gaminsky just a couple yards short. It's going to bring up 4th and 2 for Riverside Brookfield. That will bring up the kick.
Colin Reardon, the kicker.
Kick will be about a 32-yard kick. Well, that
Move it up.
yeah, we saw a lot of that last week. That was, mental mistakes really killed Glenbard South because they came in here to try to clinch a playoff berth, and they kind of shot themselves in the foot. You can't afford to do that here in the playoffs if you're Lake Forest.
Yep, and that's
It's good against Lake Forest.
That call is confirmed that it was encroachment, and you give them a 1st down. That's great for the Bulldogs.
and it's a cold, windy night for football.
Absolutely, and something that we noted in our pregame, if you didn't catch our pregame, that obviously winter or fall kind of came around late here in Chicagoland. So this is the first real cold weather game that these teams are going to be encountering all year. So we'll see if that plays a factor in the ball game tonight.
Definitely, and you see Del Nodell down there. Again, you got 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, that's 25. That's Del Nodell. It's swinging out right now. But it's going to be Hughes going on the quarterback draw the other direction. It's going to be stopped around the 6-yard line. Very, very creative play call by Brendan Curtin to kind of swing Del Nodell out of the backfield, but go the opposite direction, kind of a quarterback misdirection there.
And you can tell that Curtin's kind of deceiving the Lake Forest team. You can tell that they might have been watching the tape and they see that Del Nodell gets that ball a lot. And they seem to have Del Nodell swinging out to the wide receiver slot and getting him open for an open pass.
Absolutely, yeah. You saw that instance of that right there. I actually, myself, was looking for the screen, kind of a swing pass there, but, they went the other direction. It's bring up 2nd down. Gaminsky in motion, coming away from the line of scrimmage. The give is a misdirection to Del Nodell. That's his first carry of the evening, and he's going to be bottled up. It's really, you can tell they did game plan for that, and they stopped it right there.
Yep.
Really quick home, Lake Forest. This is a playoff rematch, as we noted in our pregame from 2016. This same Lake Forest team, they were underdogs last year, and they came to the Kennelly Athletic Complex and just really destroyed Riverside Brookfield 40-7. So, you can tell this game's been on, the minds of players and coaches alike and fans for a long time. It's good to see that rematch here tonight.
Man, of course, number 9 ran out for the Bulldogs. Zach Via's brother, Jake Via, he's covering for number 11, Devin Moody, who's injured still.
And we'll get into that injury when we got the games. He's going to be pressured. Turf looked like he got caught there, slipped, and he's going to be taken down with the 10-yard line. It's going to be a loss of, looks like about 4 or 5 on the play.
And Lake Forest is stopping the Bulldogs, especially after that encroachment penalty.
That's good point there. Matt, that's huge because they were looking to bring out the field goal attempt, and now they're going to get it here. Now that kick will be about 19 yards there. High snap, but that kick is up and it's good.
It's good.
That'll put Riverside Brookfield on the board, 3-0. Overall, you guys from Riverside Brookfield perspective, it's a good start, something that you can look forward to right there. Kind of get 3 points, and the offense did make its way down the field, so it's a good start for Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, it's definitely good to get ahead of the game, especially early in the game, no matter how many points you have.
Defense now for the Bulldogs, probably one of the best things I like to watch. They're really good. They like to keep their opponents behind the 30-yard line. If they've been doing it for the most of the season, they make it hard for the opponent team's offense to get it past the 30-yard line.
So coming up here for Lake Forest on offense, the players of note that you want to take a look at are number 14, Jack Maslinski, number 9, Jacob Thomas. That's a quarterback-running back combination who, as we'll get into their storylines throughout the game, Maslinski is a guy who last year was a slot receiver for this team, and he was a quarterback freshman and sophomore year, and he went to the coaches in the offseason and said, hey, this is my senior year. I only have one shot at this, and I want to be the guy to take this team to the playoffs. And he has. He led this team to a 5-4 record. Thomas was a virtually unknown. He's a guy who wasn't even listed in the Lake Forest roster at the beginning of the season and came on to rush about 504 yards and 103 carries. So he's been very steady because they've had injuries in their backfield with Brian Ooms. So we'll see what that Lake Forest offense can have go here.
And again, those injuries, they bring your team down all the time.
Absolutely. Kick is up. Fumbled, but it'll be taken about the 6-yard line. Be advanced up to some nice shifty work there. Be advanced up to about the 25. Yeah, still fighting about the 25-yard line. Good start for Lake Forest. Fumble there on the kickoff, but managed pretty well, get good yardage.
And guys, as this Bulldogs defense comes out, I spoke to manager for the Bulldogs, Eric Poland. He's a junior. He told me during the film sessions, watching the Lake Forest offense that the Bulldogs need to focus on their tight end, Adam Cater. And they said he needs to be shut down throughout the game. He likes to run that ball as soon as they give it to him, and he's very fast. So you're going to see a lot of the Bulldog man coverage on the tight end.
And it looks like you come out and you're seeing it here first thing, as Myslinski's back in the gun. And the give is going to be to Thomas, it believes, and that's up to about the 36-yard line. That's Jacob Thomas. Jacob Thomas's first carry of the game. Myslinski, as I noted, he played solidly at wideout last year. He's a guy who had 17 catches for about 298 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was a good slot receiver last year, but he went to his coach and said, hey, I want to be the guy. He wants to be the guy to come in here and engineer a winning team here for Lake Forest, and he's done a good job. Second down, another give to Thomas. He will have first down yardage, it looks like. Not much, but he will have first down yardage. Right now, kind of Lake Forest kind of showing their hand. They're coming out driving on balls on the ground.
Yeah, they're starting to run a little bit more than I thought they would. Coming into this game, I thought that, the QB, he would have a more of a consistent play action passing, but he seems to be running that ball to Jacob Thomas.
See expected here, and then the crowd. It's good to see a good crowd in Riverside Brookfield is always making some noise, and Thomas will get the carry. Oh, a nice stiff arm. I don't know if that's going to be a flag on the play. It will be a flag on the play. If that's going to be a block in the back or a hold to see if that play is probably coming back. That was a nice little shifty stiff arm there on the. Hopefully get a replay there. You see nice little move in the backfield. Yeah, take a look at that right there. Thomas with a nice stiff arm, but that play is going to be moving backwards. See what the call is. And it is against Lake Forest. That moving backwards.
Penalties are coming in early on him.
Yeah, you don't want to see that, especially on the opposing side, not being at home. Penalties hurt you the most.
Absolutely. And that's 2 killer penalties so far. Luckily, the first penalty on defense didn't hurt them too much. They still held them to 3, but that's when they're, it's a back right. It's a 15-yard penalty. Make it 1st and 27 from the 21-yard line. It's a spot foul there for you guys at home. Myslinski's back in the gun looking to throw. You get that ball out. This is a completed pass. Solid yardage there, about 6 yards.
Catch was made there by 25, Jack Van Hyfe.
It's a good grab by Van Hyfe. Pick up solid yardage here, make it 2nd and manageable, maybe about 2nd and 20 for Lake Forest. As we get into this Lake Forest team, a guy on defense that we didn't get a chance to talk to and talk about in the opening, we'll keep an eye on him, is John Deering. In 2016, he had 120 stops. This year, he had over 100 stops, 14 tackles for loss. You expect to see him in the Riverside Brookfield backfield here tonight. As Myslinski's looking, he's got a man. This nice sideline grab. We have to see if that's complete or not.
It looks like he dropped that pass right out of bounds. The bullet pass, and you can tell that Myslinski is an experienced quarterback. You can't see a lot of quarterbacks that go on the run that quick and throw that ball in their offhand. It's tough to do.
That's something you don't see a lot at the high school level, like you said. The ability to kind of roll and keep your eyes upfield and throw the ball, that's key.
Eric, you're talking about how good their defense is on Lake Forest. Bulldogs, last game you had Anthony Walsh, 7 tackles, Jeff Bowles, 6 tackles and a sack.
Myslinski's rolling, looking long. He's got a man there. It's completion, but it's not going to be first down yardage. It's number 85 on the grab there for Lake Forest. That was Ryan, Ryan Sakay. That's their main guy for Lake Forest. That's be a 38th grab of the year, including his regular season numbers. So he's the main target there. And we'll see if that it actually is enough for first down yardage. Excuse me. So they're driving. It's a good starter for Lake Forest coming out. And the give, they're going right back to the ground. Jacob Thomas.
And a flag on the play.
Guys, there was no zone coverage at all for the Bulldogs. No one in the back. Is just a full man blitz. That's what it seems to be for the Bulldogs defense so far.
This game looks like it's going to be a match with 2 play calls, and once again, that's another penalty against Lake Forest. It's a hold. They're going to have to, you're not going to be able to come in here to this Kenley Athletic Complex and shoot yourself in the foot with penalties. It's not going to happen.
Seemed to bounce back pretty good from them, though.
They bounce back pretty good, but you don't want to hurt yourself too much, especially, as we noted, last week was a great crowd, and it's another great crowd here again tonight at Riverside Brookfield. It's playoff atmosphere. You don't want to kind of move backward too much and hurt yourself.
And guys, we all know when it gets cold out, you get the fever, and when it's playoff time, you get playoff fever. And these fans are crazy when the playoffs come.
The playoff fever, and players on the field have the playoff jitters as well. So that's another thing you got to look forward to. Play action there, and the pass is out to Sakay, completed, and he's making a couple shifty moves. He's going to get still going. Maybe should have. maybe should have kind of taken the ball there at the 46-yard line, but was still fighting for yardage there. I don't know if he lost it at the end. Some of the players are pointing one direction or the other, but either way, that's the second completed pass for Ryan Sakay tonight.
Takedown right there is from number 16, Jeff Bills.
Bills is a guy you want to keep an eye on if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan. If you're a Lake Forest fan, just a couple notes on Sakay. 2016 he was something to see because he really broke in the scene in a big way with 30 catches for 558 yards and 6 TDs. And this season, defensive coordinators had their eye on him, so he recorded 29 catches for 413 yards. But he's their big play guy. As the give is there to number 5, Brian Ooms. That's 2 O's for you guys at home, but Brian Ooms is a guy you will see going both ways, a running back and linebacker, 6'1", 215-pound senior. He's a very talented player for Lake Forest.
And these Bulldogs seem to be so far taking advantage of Lake Forest's penalties, as they go back. If you want to compare it to basketball, getting the free throw. If you miss free throws, you're going to possibly end up losing the game because you're not taking advantage of extra points. So it's all about Bulldogs defense taking advantage of those penalties.
Another flag on the play here.
Yeah, there is a flag on the play, and they're moving into Riverside Brookfield territory. Not sure what the flag was. It may have been just a missed spot on the ball. There's what it looked like because they moved it about 3 yards, but we're still going here for Lake Forest. Snap, and he's rolling right, looking for a man downfield. Yeah, absolutely. That's a completed pass. Once again, Lake Forest is really driving here. That's their big play guy Ryan Sakay, and just to finish up on Sakay, he's a guy who this season the reason his numbers went down because he faced a lot of double and triple coverage because teams came out and saw him his junior year and realized who is this guy? We might want to keep an eye on him, and maybe Riverside Brookfield should do the same.
Yeah, guys, Lake Forest's D line is doing really good on the QB protection. They're giving that QB a lot of time to find that open man.
Tons of room.
And the give is to Ooms. Ooms is up about the 15-yard line. Hey, Matt, just to piggyback on that point there about their offensive line, that's a team that broke in 4 new starters over the summer. So clearly that offensive line is really gelled, and they're moving the ball down the field here in the playoffs. Guys, from the Riverside Brookfield perspective, what has to be going through your mind? Because you remember last year, 40-7. You come in another great year, and they're driving here. As the give, once again, is to Ooms. But, yeah, just to kind of finish up that point here, what has to be going through the mind of a Riverside Brookfield student fan when you see it's almost like deja vu all over again?
Yeah, I think what it is that you don't want to see that happen again. 40-7, like you said, that's, a complete upset at home especially. And I think the Bulldogs are trying to capitalize on this because they know coming into this at the second seed, with a very good record of 8-1, I think they won't be deceived by this team and they can take control.
As the give is to Ooms, and Ooms is accelerating. Ooms accelerating into the end zone for a Lake Forest touchdown, and he spikes the ball there to kind of emphasize the fact that he is in the end zone. His touchdown, Lake Forest. The Scouts are in. That'll make a 6-3 ball game. Joey, just to get your thoughts really quick there, as we come on for the extra point, what has to be going through your mind as you see them come here and, kind of punch it in on the first drive, despite the fact that they've had 3 penalties that could have hurt them on one end and hurt them on the other end here on offense.
Well, as a senior, a lot of my friends on the team here are senior starters, and they were looking forward to this year. Starters coming into for this playoff game, it's huge for them. It could be their last game. They could keep going.
The kick is up, and the kick is good, and that'll make it a 7-3 ball game in terms of momentum. Lake Forest really capitalized that, and they've kind of taken control of this ball game here with 3:50 left in the first quarter. It is 7-3 Lake Forest over Riverside Brookfield. And that's for Chuck Spagnoli, who once again talk about being a veteran coach. He's in his 15th year here at Lake Forest. He's a guy he's seen it all. And you want to talk about commitment to program? Chuck Spagnoli actually lives in Wisconsin and makes the commute here, to Illinois. So he's a guy who's been with this program a long time. He took over the program kind of under a turbulent situation where the old coach Willie Snead kind of had a controversial exit. We won't get too much into that, but we'll kind of focus on the positive here is that he's a guy who's been with the program 34 years, like I said, and really cares about these kids. And, they advanced to the quarterfinals last year, and they're off to a good start in their playoff run here tonight.
And, of course, Stefan Gaminsky in the back, along with Nick Del Nodell. And that's the dynamic duo that opposing teams do not want to see.
For folks at home, Brendan Curtin, he's a dynamic play caller, and we saw it on the first drive. It's going to be key that for RB that they have to come out and respond. They've got to come out and, I don't want to use a typical sports cliche, but they got to punch him in the mouth. I would, if I were calling the plays, I'd go down to Nick Del Nodell, but that's why I'm up here.
There's Gaminsky. That's the man with the wheels, running up past the 20, up to the 25.
Take up about, yeah, go ahead, finish that thought.
Yeah, no, it was 26. A good run by Stefan Gminski.
It's going to take a lot of that. It's going to take a lot of Gminski. It's going to take a lot of the Via brothers, who we talked about. You guys noted this for us last week, that Devin Moody was a big playmaker for you guys who was out. If you want to elaborate on that a little bit, because we'll see the Vias in place of him.
Yeah.
I was talking to Devin a lot, and with his leg, I don't know the injury in particular, but he said that he's been wanting to play this game, and even last Friday he said he's been running during practice, and he said it hurts. It just can't play, can't run on it.
Yeah, and of course Devin Moody, he was that guy right in the red zone. Every time he was that guy in the end zone with that ball. He was their touchdown man.
He's very athletic.
Hughes, and there's the give right there to Del Nodell up to about the 32-yard line there, and that. So it's going to be a key for Riverside Brookfield. Just maybe just come out, keep the ball on the ground, take control of the play clock and the game clock, and kind of use that home field advantage. Because right now, Lake Forest is off to a good start, 7-3.
Last drive they mostly passes and play action passes. Now they started out with a run.
Absolutely. Brim second down and 6. Hughes moving and get out to Del Nodell.
No, it's the Via.
Excuse me, Via. Yeah, you're right.
Good for a first down.
Up to about the 38-yard line. Good catch there, Joey.
And guys, it's all about how are the Bulldogs going to be able to come back. 7-3. It's kind of tough to see what they can do because we haven't really seen the Bulldogs throughout the season down that much. Last time we saw them down by 40 points was against ICCP, of course, the previous year's state champions. But it's all about how can the Bulldogs come back offensively and defensively.
That's a really good point because, like you said, and it looks like this is there was a penalty on the play. It looks like because that ball has not been advanced yet, and the Riverside Brookfield offense moving backwards. We'll have to try to get a quick note on what that penalty was. But either way, that first down looks like it's coming back for Riverside Brookfield. But just to piggyback off your point, Matt, this is a team that hasn't been punched in the mouth a lot. So they're going to have to come out and show kind of resolve here what happens when they are down. And Hughes is rolling. He's got number 9.
Pass there to 9, Jake Via.
Put him in second down and manageable yardage there. Just a quick note on this Lake Forest team. This is a team who they spent 4 days during the summer at Wisconsin Parkside for a bonding trip, a summer workout. So, they are coming here and they're together, they're unified, and they're ready to go.
And of course, like you said, getting punched in the mouth. The Bulldogs haven't gotten punched in the mouth that much. And last game, I even mentioned this against Glenbard South. They were up by so much, and they got to be used to, having some kind of challenge.
Absolutely. And he was looking downfield, and he's going to miss the Via when Via's down there on the play cut on the completion, the incompletion.
And that's 2 passes now. Hunter Hughes has been overthrown on. The one in the end zone at the beginning of the game, and now that one.
Hughes is a guy who completed over 70% of his passes, so you're not used to seeing him miss a lot of passes, and you wonder if the weather maybe plays a factor here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Only seen 2 runs so far for both possessions on offense for the Bulldogs.
Really quick, Riverside Brookfield, this is a game obviously because they want to win. They want to try and keep it close, but especially because of last season, because it was a 19-point second quarter that blew things open for Lake Forest. So, you don't want to have those memories of last season. As Kaminsky with the punt. It's going to take a RB bounce and be down around the 33-yard line. Solid punt. We'll see what Jack Maslinski and the Lake Forest offense come out and do here. I don't want to, kind of get too far ahead of yourself because this is a big play offense. But, if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan, you got to be thinking 14-3 at this point. Feels a lot like last year.
Yeah, it's like you couldn't have said it any better. I mean, they could be getting deceived by this Lake Forest team. With that record of a 5-4, you wouldn't expect the team to come back against the Bulldogs like this.
This Lake Forest team, this is their 4th straight year coming in as the lower seed. So this is a team that's not fazed by being an underdog. As Maslinski would be back in the gun, ready to bring the Scouts back up on offense. And that pass is Ryan Sakay with a nice move. Guys, I don't know if you see that. For a very big man up there, he's got some nice moves and wheels up there.
Yeah, I mean, especially on turf. I mean, that guy, he's got great stability. He's got good traction with those shoes. I mean, he's getting all over the place with that, stumbling hesitation move. And look at that juke right to the right. Did it again, and then he got taken by number 62 for the Bulldogs.
Quick note on Sakay. He's a guy who's 6'4", 205 pounds. So he's a nice size target down there. Since he'd be looking and pass is complete. That's an 85 again. That's what's 6 grab of the night for him. So it's clearly it's going to be the Ryan Sakay and Jack Maslinski show tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's going straight to him every single time. And like I said at the beginning of the game, quarterback does not like to run that ball as much. He likes to, get those shotgun passes off, especially that play action pass. I mean, we haven't seen much of it. We've seen it once, and it worked out good for him. But we'll see if he can get it throughout the night a little bit more.
Lake Forest is playing like a team who really has had to compete for their playoff lives, and they have the last 5 weeks. They've been in do-or-die situations, as the give is to Thomas, and he'll be stopped for about a 1-yard gain. But to kind of finish that point, for Riverside Brookfield, it's a team that they've kind of had smooth sailing outside of the IC Catholic Prep game. For Lake Forest, this is a team that they had to win 3 straight in order to get here, and they're keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, that momentum is key. We know that for a fact.
Absolutely. Brimp's second down as the quarter is coming to an end. 42 seconds and counting down for quarter here. And that pass will be complete to Ryan Sakay to the 26-yard line there. He's still moving. That's 7 grabs in a quarter. I mean, that's he's kind of unstoppable down there with his size.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 6'4". He is a
225 pounds.
Yeah, a very big target. And 225 pounds, the way he can move, I mean, that's like another LeBron James.
Yeah.
Outsizes the Bulldogs' defense there.
And quick note, I was trying to get an eye on who this is as Sakay comes off the field here, so we'll have to see that as he comes back on, who's covering him. I see Del Nodell on one side and Kaminsky is the other as the DBs. And that offense still working.
Blitz there.
Very good stop.
Nice stop there by number 44 for the Bulldogs.
That's Dom Rowe right there.
Dom Rowe. He's also another man on the Bulldogs defense. He's a man on the mission. He likes to
6'1",
get those sacks.
6'1", 190 pounds. It's a load coming at you.
Another key for Lake Forest is going to be third down. Right now it's second down, but you want to keep – Lake Forest only converts 37% of their third downs this year, so they want to stay out of third and long as we come to the end of the second quarter right here, and score will be 7-3. Lake Forest is up at the end of 1. And we're back here from Riverside Brookfield. You're watching Frequency Sports here on Frequency TV. You're watching the first round of the Illinois High School Athletic Association playoffs, and it's a 7-3 ball game. Here's your back on Frequency Sports. Here at Kenley Athletic Complex, it's a 7-3 ball game in favor of the road team, Lake Forest, and they're driving deep into Bulldog territory, about the 31-yard line. We're second down. He's rolling. Mislinski's rolling. And get that pass off to number. You should kind of bounce it there and be incomplete.
And again, Mislinski on the roll.
That pass was intended for number 22, Luke Nolan. Just to kind of give a quick summary of the first half, the first quarter, it was really a tale of Lake Forest shot themselves in the foot with some penalties, but they still managed to go down there and drive the ball in the end zone with a Brian Ooms touchdown.
Yeah, it shows a lot of will coming out of the Lake Forest offensive and defensive sides,
This is a key down here for third down for Lake Forest. They've only converted 37% of their third downs this year. Illinois High School Athletic Association average is around 60%. So you see they'll go and keep on the ground to Jacob Thomas. They'll go and just take the 67 yards and kind of go ahead and maybe kick this field goal here. We'll see if they're going to kick the field goal or if they will go for it on fourth down.
And while they're switching up here, we'd like to welcome Loyola Medicine to RB Sports. Beginning this season, Loyola Medicine is the sports medicine provider for the Bulldogs. Loyola Medicine, body and soul.
Thanks, Matt, for the mention there. Loyola Sports Medicine will appreciate it. Let's bring a fourth down here, and they will keep the offense on the field. So we'll see. This is going to be kind of a critical point in the ball game here. It's looking, and that pass is going to be complete to Ryan Sakay. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. He's fighting there. This is a huge fourth down conversion here. We'll see. The referees are looking for the spot. And actually, you know what? I see the chains moving. That's a first down for Lake Forest. That's huge right there.
And that is not good for the Bulldogs.
Guys, when you got a big target like that, I did not notice how big he was in warm-ups, but I'm looking at him on the field, and he does look, like you said, Matt, a LeBron James down there. He's a very big man, and you got to look from here in the red zone, you would think.
Yeah, he's just oversizing those Bulldogs.
As Thomas will not get much on the gain up to about the 9-yard line. But once again, this Lake Forest team, they're a veteran team. They made it to the quarterfinals of the playoffs last year. This group, if you're a senior on Lake Forest, you've made it to the playoffs all 4 years. So you know what to expect. This kind of environment is not going to intimidate you. And furthermore, as we've mentioned, a very key point, this is a rematch. They've come to the exact stadium and win being an underdog, so they know what to expect. Just to give us to Tom. No, sorry, it's play action. It's a play action, and Mislinski is going to be knocked down. That's good coverage there for Riverside Brookfield.
There was that play action pass, but he actually rolled with it and kept running. So that was a very nice play by Myslinski.
Clearly, Chuck Spagnoli, may have had a key on what Riverside Brookfield may have expected, because we expected one thing, and they come out with the exact opposite.
Yep.
Key third down here for Lake Forest. The give is to Thomas, and he's not going to get much there. An interesting play call. I think when you got a guy who's 6'4" like that in Sakay, you just throw that fade up there for him and let him kind of grab that rebound, but they did not call that.
Yeah, and that's just a huge oversize on the Bulldogs defense. I mean, usually got those smaller guys like Del Nodell covering those wide receivers.
And you take a look, you mentioned Del Nodell, and that's exactly who's carrying the ball for them, but that's going to be stopped very short. It's going to be very short, that they're not going to get the first down. But we're going to go to the sideline here and see if our Frequency Sports anchor, Ibrahim Samra, has something down our sideline. Ibrahim, what you got down there, buddy?
Yeah, guys, it's been really cold out here, not compared to last week. Last week we were in the 70s. Now we're low 40s, almost in the mid-30s. So these teams are going to have to play as hard as they can through this cold. And so far, you can see that Lakeview has been the best team so far. So throwing in the air is going to be tough. Running the ball has been key so far. We'll see how it goes and how it ends here. And the cold, man, it's cold. I need some gloves out here. Somebody, producers, give me something.
Hey, partner, we'll run some gloves for you down there. Thank you for that sideline report. There's Lake Forest. They got comfortable with Lakeview, but Lake Forest, they weren't able to convert there, and now the Riverside Brookfield will take over here, first down.
And that
sneaked there by Hunter Hughes.
Yeah, that completely saved the Bulldogs right there. I mean, if Lake Forest got to that end zone, that could have been bone crushing for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they weren't expecting that one at all.
We talked about last season, like you said, there was a 19-point swing for Lake Forest that really kind of put this game out of reach. So, like you said, Matt, that was a key stop for them down there. And kind of piggyback off of Ibrahim's point with the weather, like you said, this is the first real, fall cold weather games. These guys, even though, they're Midwesterners, they're going to have to kind of button down here and buckle down here and kind of get used to that weather.
Yeah, weather definitely is a key factor in football.
As Hughes is dropping back, and he's got to get out of the end zone there. He will get out of the end zone and fumble. Fumbles the ball. Then that's almost a backbreaker right there for Riverside Brookfield. You don't see a guy like Hughes. He's been a winner his entire career, make very many mistakes.
Yeah, guys, you could just see the mistake he made right there. I mean, he just had it with one hand. He wasn't holding that ball like a normal, running back would.
And we'll see it here on the replay. Yeah, call it out, Matt.
And there it was right there. He just lost that ball, slipped right out of his hands. Maybe like what Casey would say before, popcorn before the game, slipping around that football.
And it popped right out. And it's at the 10-yard line of Riverside Brookfield. So now we talked about the resolve of this team. We'll see what they got. They haven't been down often, and right now they're in a very adverse situation. They need to stop here. Need to hold them to 3.
Man, Lake Forest just getting really lucky on that one. Turning over the ball right by the end zone, the red zone. And there's Jake Thomas. He ran that one up for about 5 yards.
Thomas is a guy, like we said in the open, he's a virtual unknown. He was a guy who we're not sure if he was a transfer or if he just was an unheralded player, but he was not even listed on the Lake Forest rosters at the open of the season. He's been their leading rusher with Ooms fighting off injuries. Ooms, who we did not mention, is slated to play his college football next year at 1AA Butler, so he's a big-time player as Thomas will get the carry here. Looking for the end zone. He will make the end zone. That is a Lake Forest touchdown. It is a
second touchdown.
Second touchdown in the game, for Jacob Thomas, and that'll make it 14-3, or excuse me, make it 13-3 with the extra point coming to make it 14-3. On the replay here, it's just kind of a give out of the shotgun, and that's him with the nose for the end zone.
And again, mentioned it before in a previous game. You got to have that IQ, that field IQ of the football field. And that awareness, he has very good awareness. You can see him moving around with that ball. He feels very comfortable.
As the extra point is up and good. We've, to kind of piggyback off that point, Matt, we've seen a variety of runners in the games we've done here for Frequency. We've seen guys who, speed guys, we've seen power guys. And he's a guy who, he's not just a one cut and go guy. He's a guy who likes to set the blocks up, let him, let those blocks kind of, guide him into the end zone as opposed to someone who's going to kind of just hit the hole. So you like to see that of a high school running back.
And like you said, with those blocks, that's what I think a typical running back should do. Kind of have those blockers guide you through, because that's what they're there for. They're there to help you get to the end zone. So use them to your advantage.
Exactly. What do you see on there, Joe?
I saw here from the quarterback, Myslinski, throughout the first, second quarter, very smooth and calm in the back. Hasn't had any pressure come to him, and he's doing really good with it so far.
All right, guys, we'll bring you into our booth here. I am Eric Kearney along with Matt Angio and Joey DeCosta. We are live from the Kenley Athletic Complex, Riverside Brookfield High School, guys. And yeah, go ahead and finish up that point, Joey, what you saw from, quarterback.
Myslinski, throughout the first and second quarter so far, he has great offensive line blocking the Bulldogs' defense. Had no pressure yet in the backfield. He's been doing pretty good with it.
And Matt, what do you see once again from the Riverside Brookfield perspective? What can they do to turn this thing around?
Yeah, I think with the Bulldogs defense, they got to use that blitz to their advantage. Stop that QB Myslinski. He doesn't like that QB option. He likes that play action pass to number 85, and that seems to be working for them the most. And there's the kickoff. Could be going to Gminski, and he's going to get that ball. Running up past the 20 to the 25, almost to the 30. He's at about the 28-yard line.
Yeah, about 28. Now, if you're RB, you got to move with a sense of urgency here. I don't know if Nick Del Nodell is not a factor here. If you can still use him on the ground because he's such a dynamic playmaker. He broke a 75-yard touchdown last week. He's not really out of the game plan yet, but you got to think you're going to the air here and with Hunter Hughes in his right arm.
Yeah, like we saw, he was just trying to roll with it. The only thing Hunter Hughes seems to be doing on his own is, rolling with that ball and trying to get ahead. Some QB sneaks, especially.
We'll go ahead and talk about Hughes.
We'll put 8-10 on the clock.
We'll go ahead and talk about Hughes here. Hughes is a guy who is, we got some coaches come to our booth here. Hughes is a guy who last year was not even the starter. He took over for injury at Wakanda, if that's correct, guys?
Yes.
And he's, since he's been the starter, he has an updated record, including last week, of 15-3 as a starter. So losing is not something that he's used to. One of his 3 losses, once again, is against this Lake Forest team. So, he is out looking for revenge as the rest of his Riverside Brookfield team, but he's going to have to dig deep and kind of, see if he can guide his team back here on a comeback.
Yeah, and that last season Wakanda game, that definitely showed Hunter Hughes' character as a football quarterback,
Absolutely. As Gminski will take the give. Look like Gminski line up in the backfield. Is that something you normally see out of Riverside Brookfield? Because we didn't see that last week.
Yeah,
Not a lot of Stefan, more of Nick.
Yeah, it's more of Nick running the ball. But Stefan, they like to switch both of them up. They did that throughout the season. That was a very good run, though.
And now we'll see what Brendan Curtin has as a play caller. He's called a lot of plays from up this season, from ahead. He hasn't called very many plays from behind, so we'll see if he can guide this team back, he and Hunter Hughes. Bring him second down. Second down and 4 here. Play action pass, and pass is complete once again to that man, Stefan Gminski. And a flag, I don't know if that's going to be a helmet-to-helmet hit there. This is a nice shot. He's slow to get up there, but we got a flag on the play.
You've got Hunter Hughes with a shotgun pass. And we know from the previous games, Hunter Hughes with those interceptions, he has had interceptions before and turnovers, and the way that he bounces back from them, he usually bounces back very well, especially, in the Wakanda game. Coming back, like I said, with his character, he can really end the game clutch. He can come in very clutch.
We've talked about penalties being an issue for Lake Forest. Now it's by Riverside Brookfield, and, on the backside as they're moving backwards. That pass that would have been good for a first down is nullified as they bring up second down and long for the Bulldogs in their own territory. Hughes under center here. Play action. Be looking. I'm sorry. I think give is to Del Nodell.
He stopped immediately.
For Riverside Brookfield, once again, I don't want to, go into the business of questioning the play calls, but I think you definitely want to come out and get a touchdown back very quickly. So, whatever that may be, if that's dialing up, Del Nodell, if that's dialing up, Via, who we saw last week, they got to get something back quick.
Yeah, definitely before the end of the second quarter.
Second quarter, absolutely. Going before halftime. Is this a situation where you might have seen Devin Moody, possibly?
He was usually the guy in the red zone.
Okay.
He was the guy that would capitalize on those touchdowns.
Now he's looking long, looking down the field. He's going to have to give her this ball quickly. He's going to take a hard hit from Lake Forest, and he's not going to get much. He's going to bring up third down and long.
Fourth and long.
This will be fourth down and long. I apologize.
And there's Lake Forest showing their D-line, that strength that they have. They're just keeping up with Hunter Hughes. They're stopping him all over the place. They just followed him down the field.
Hughes is a guy who we talk about not getting a ton of recognition as opposed to other area QBs, and he's a great athlete. You see him kind of scrambling around there. He's a guy who runs a 4 or 5 40-yard dash. He's a good weight room performer, so he's got the tools back there, a quarterback, to lead this team back, and we talk about being gutsy and being a leader and being a winner. So don't count him out yet, but you got to remember last year, Gminski with the punt.
That's very high up. That's going to go out of bounds.
Round midfield for Riverside Brookfield. This will bring Jack Mleczynski back out on offense. And, as we have 5:58 here left as the offensive team comes back on the unit for Lake Forest. We talk about Mleczynski. One of the keys that we talked about him being in sync with Ryan Sakay is the fact that he was a receiver, and it was Mleczynski, not the coaches, who moved him to quarterback last year. He's the guy who said, hey, I want this job. I think I've earned it. And Chuck Spagnuolo said that nothing was given to him. He worked hard to be a good quarterback. There's no slide on anyone else in their team, but he really worked hard, and he's erased all the doubt, and he's led his team to the playoffs, and now up in the playoffs 14-3.
Yeah, and those are usually the players that do the best, the guys that work for it the most. Some teams, they just say, oh, well, this guy's a senior, let's just put him in there. But you sometimes get sophomores that work for it really well. As number 25 for Lake Forest drops that pass.
That was Jack Van Hyft on the pass that was long downfield from Mleczynski. Like we said, you see a team being very aggressive, looking to put this game out of reach. I think if you're Lake Forest, you're thinking 21-3, just like last year, put this thing out of reach early.
I feel like if they get another touchdown here or a field goal going into halftime, that's huge.
You don't want to count them out, but yeah, I mean that's huge. Put this thing in the halftime, make it a 2-score game. 2-touchdown game, excuse me, is already a 2-score game.
And at the bottom of the screen, Chris Doherty, number 28 for the Bulldogs. He's a sophomore, showing his playoff debut.
And one thing you got to love here from Lake Forest is the fact that they're still coming out and working their game plan. They're still throwing the ball. We didn't see Ryan Sakay there on the field. He's come back on the field now, but they have a variety of playmakers. They're spreading the ball out there, and they're really making plays.
Yeah, and like you said, that variety of plays that they have is just confusing the Bulldogs defense. They can't keep up with it.
And it's the big man Sakay. It's at the top of your screen. You see him up there, point number 85. That's Stefan Gominski. That's a huge mismatch. Gominski's only 5'7" in my sheet here, and I'm going to be generous. But Mleczynski will keep the ball, and he's going to go up for a first down. You guys, I don't know if you saw there, the two corners look like Ardell Nodell and Gominski for RB. That's almost a 7-inch height advantage if you're talking about there. So
yeah, that's something you don't want to have if you're a defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. I mean, if you got that much of a mismatch on the height, you're definitely going to get overpowered.
You talk about it in basketball, when you have a big 7-foot center like a DeMarcus Cousins, going against a little guy, you just, you the ball, just throw him up there and let him work, and that's what they can do up in the red zone.
Yeah, get a DeMarcus Cousins on an Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, he's going to bully you in the paint.
Exactly. As it gave us to Jacob Thomas, and he's got the carries, go to the 10, 5, and that's going to be a touchdown for Lake Forest. Guys, it's tough as Lake Forest goes up 20-0 there. That's a great run by Jacob Thomas as we take a look and see. Excuse me, that was Brian Ooms. I'm sorry, I got my 9s and my 5s mixed up. That was Brian Ooms there. He takes into the end zone for a touchdown there. But yeah, that's still tough there for Riverside Brookfield, because you got to be thinking just like last year. It's now a 3-score ball game.
Yeah, it's all about how Brandon Curtin, during the halftime, what can he do? He's got to fix those gaps in the defense. I mean, because those guys are just running right through the Bulldogs.
The PAT is up, and the PAT is good to make it a 21-3 ball game here from the Kennelly Athletic Complex. And our partner Ibrahim Sammer has more. Ibrahim, what you got down there? The ball game like it's getting out of hand. What you got, buddy?
Hey, I'm with the cheerleaders sideline. I got Heidi on my right. She's gonna show me a routine. I don't know how to cheerlead, but we're gonna try. Heidi, show me a routine. What can I do? Let's see what we can do. All right. I'm already doing this thing. Woo! I think that was good. We did good. I can't do the high leg kicks, but hey, I think it's working. Thanks, Heidi. You guys are the best. Thank you. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, partner. I would say that you're missed up here. Clearly, you're having a ton of fun down here. If you take off the tight jeans, you might be able to do the high kicks. I got to give you a hard time, Ibrahim.
Hey, at least he's keeping his hands warm.
He's keeping his hands warm with the pom poms. He's having a good time down there. So Hey, look, you wouldn't catch me down there doing this. So I got to give him an A for effort down there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the best.
And as it's a 21-3 ball game here, to kind of once again going to the RB perspective here, the fans, they've taken this crowd out of the ball game. A crowd that was very loud last week against Glenbard South. With 5 minutes left at halftime, it's essential that RB gets something back, whether that be a field goal or touchdown.
That looks like Stefan Gominski with that ball.
Got some yardage, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
Here's that play right there, yeah. Up to about the 50. He's running over a man down to about the 45-yard line. That pumps up the crowd, pumps up the sideline there for Riverside Brookfield. You'd like to see that.
That gives the Bulldogs a boost of confidence. Try to get some points on the board before half.
As we'll see Kaminsky here on the return, he kind of makes that move like he's going right. There's a ton of open field on the left, and he's running hard for a smaller guy who's 5'7", 165 pounds. He clearly does not want this to be his last game of the season.
And they seem to be targeting Kaminsky the most on that punt return because, that kick return. They seem to be, just targeting him. They give it to Del Nodell in the previous games, and he's the one that takes over usually.
And there's Del Nodell right there. You call his name and you ask for him and you will receive. He's up to about the first down yardage. Clearly that offense moving with a sense of urgency now. You kind of see it from behind the players like, hey, it's do or die now for their Riverside Brookfield in their season.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time that they have to come back. They have to at least get one touchdown before this second quarter ends.
Aside from that last play, we haven't seen a lot of Nick Del Nodell at all. Mostly to Stefan Kaminsky.
You have a lot of guys on this team who they are seniors. We counted about 12 or 13 seniors here. This could potentially be their last game. You don't want this to be the last time you're putting on that blue and white, so they're coming out with a sense of urgency. See Hunter Hughes looking. He's got a man open, and to get up to about the 30-yard line. That pass is complete up to number 17. We don't have on our roster sheet here, but that's a good gain for a first down.
He's a mystery man.
We talked about those mystery men last week. We're going to have a few of them this week as well. But, hey, we're going to give you your love up here. And that's going to be good for a first down. Really quick, just want to shout out Loyola Sports Medicine for everything they do here for the Riverside Brookfield Bulldogs. They all do a great job taking care of this team and keeping them healthy. And, they've kept a lot of their players on the field. So thank you to Loyola Sports Medicine as it's a second down here for Riverside Brookfield. And pass is complete to Stefan Kaminsky. That'll be first down yardage here, guys.
And you can tell that Coach Curtin for the Bulldogs definitely talked to Hunter Hughes during that little bit of a break. He said, you got two guys, Stefan Kaminsky and Nick Del Nodell, very fast runners. Take advantage of them.
Those guys, like you said, they don't have to, get the ball deep. Just give them the ball in open space and let them use their quicks and their shiftiness, and they're driving down the field. They're in the Lake Forest territory. He was looking back to throw, looking out, and that's Kaminsky. And, Kaminsky will make a guy miss. He's so shifty for such a small guy there. You see that defender grabbing onto his jersey but can't hang on to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's very strong, too, the way he can get past those defenders. And, of course, another player we haven't seen much of is Zach Via. He's on the wide receiver. You usually see him on the bottom of your screen. He's wide open sometimes, and he just can't get that ball.
Via is a guy who had a big game last week against Glen Bart South, so you would hope they could get him involved here tonight. But either way, they're driving. It's better late than never. It's 3:26 left in the half, but they're driving. It's 21-3 ball game, but they're looking to get one back here for Riverside Brookfield. Brendan Curtin's down players. Del Nodell in motion. He's looking for him. Actually, no, he's looking for Stefan Kaminsky again. That pass is complete for a Riverside Brookfield touchdown. There you go, guys. Call it out. Stefan Kaminsky, right?
That's Stefan Kaminsky with that open catch right for that touchdown. I mean, he just leaped for that one. So, I mean, you got to give it up to G-Man. He's been getting those passes and those runs. I mean, he earned that touchdown.
You see here on that replay, this guy who dives right there into the end zone. He's a senior, so he does not want this to be his last game. He's fighting there, and you got the Crowders pumped up. The Riverside Brookfield coaching staff, they kind of erupted there once he got that touchdown. This game isn't over, and the kick is up and good.
I think Stefan erupted there after that kick return coming all the way to the 55. He said, I want a touchdown when I got on the board for halftime, and he did it.
You see the fight in him. He's not taking no for an answer. That makes his game now 11-point game in favor of Lake Forest. It's a 21-10 ball game here, but that's huge, guys. Let's talk about that a little bit going into halftime. It was kind of now or never. They needed that huge touchdown there for Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's going to give a boost of confidence and motivation for the Bulldogs. I mean, I can make a bold prediction right now that it could be coming down to crunch time during the fourth quarter where the Bulldogs just need one touchdown to win the game, and you can definitely count on Hunter Hughes coming in for that game, coming in clutch, winning the game for the Bulldogs. So that's just my bold prediction, but we'll see what happens.
Actually, Joey, do you have another bold prediction here as well to follow up on your partner?
I agree with Matt. Probably tight fourth quarter, but now let's see if the Bulldogs defense now after this kick return could have as much firepower as Stefan can, and hopefully rub that off towards them to get past Bislinski and his offensive power.
Absolutely, guys. Obviously, when you guys aren't going to try to hide your bias here, you are RB students, so you're hoping for the best. And, we're hoping for the best here if you guys watching at home for us in the stands. Hoping for a good ball game here, so we definitely hope they can go ahead and make it a ball game. As the kick is away. It'll be taken at the 5-yard line and will be advanced up to about the 29, 30, 36-yard line there for Lake Forest. Good field position to start off. Just to follow up there on the fight of this Riverside Brookfield Bulldog team, they are led by Brendan Curtin. He's a guy who took over this job in 2012 after 4 seasons as the offensive coordinator at Nazareth Academy, and he was a starting quarterback here like Hunter Hughes from 89 to 90. Played college football, and he described his offensive philosophy as playing balanced run pass game with even ball distribution. They certainly have that. Now, the run game, we'll see how much of an option it is now, being down 11 points. But Brendan Curtin is a guy who his offenses can put points on the field, points on the board, very quickly.
Usually, some of the games that I've watched up here, most of their points, in my opinion, have came from running the ball, giving it to Nick Del. I've seen a lot of passing this game. Usually, I see a lot of running.
So to piggyback off that point, Joey, do you think that they have the capability to come back from a 2-score deficit?
Absolutely. I think they need to run the ball more. The passing is working, but they keep getting taken down from. But we'll see what happens.
As Lake Forest moving again, and that's Myslinski on the play action pass. He's looking in just out of the reach of number 25, Jack Van Hyft. That would have been good for a first down yardage, but couldn't make the tiptoe grab.
Yeah, guys, and right after that kick return, you can kind of see, especially everyone at home watching, you can kind of tell that whenever the opposing side gets stopped at before the 20-yard line, the Bulldogs usually stop them from scoring at all during the game. And that's kind of a pattern throughout the season. And this Lake Forest team, is getting past the 20-yard line. You can tell that offensively they're very strong, as number 14, Myslinski, keeps running, and he gets stopped around, looks like the 43-yard line.
Yeah, and a little extra curricular activity there. It looked like he was out of bounds and like he got hit, but not going to be called up here. But yeah, we talked about it. Myslinski's a guy who is a good athlete. Let's kind of give him his love here. He's a nationally ranked lacrosse player as well. So he's a great athlete. And some of the we had a beat writer up here for Lake Forest who covers his team who said that he's really kind of excelled into that quarterback position as the season has gone on. He kind of struggled early on, but he's taking control with his last 4 wins, and he's doing a great job here tonight, as you saw in that rollout.
And one thing I see, obviously people who aren't watching right now.
Yeah, not to cut you off there, Matt, but we have a penalty that's going to give him a first down. Finish your thought.
You could tell by the Bulldogs bench, it is a very cold night, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to stay warm at all. And I think that's a little bit of an injury risk, coming out on the field with cold limbs. That's not a very good idea.
Absolutely, and especially at the pace that this game is going, that'll be a good thing to look forward as we get to the 3rd and 4th quarter. But that is the first down. That was encroachment by Riverside Brookfield, and Brian Ooms is off to the 40, the 30, the 20. Brian Ooms is going to be gone for a Lake Forest touchdown. Brian Ooms, he'll make it 27-10. That don't want to call it a backbreaker, but that's what Riverside Brookfield did not want coming out of that touchdown drive, guys.
And go ahead, Joe.
Defense right now for the Bulldogs just can't keep up with the offense there ran by Myslinski. It's kind of getting to him, I think.
As we take a look on the replay there, he just caught the outside, and there was no catching him there. That was one of the Vaya brothers down trying to catch him on the end, but wasn't able to catch him for a touchdown.
Yeah, and guys, I don't say this much for opposing teams, but that was a whammy touchdown.
That's your signature call right there. That certainly was a whammy touchdown, if there ever was one. You're right.
I forgot. What do we like to call them? A wham-tastic play?
Yep. We got wham-tastic tackles and wham-tastic touchdowns.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
That was definitely one of them.
Just finished up there. That was Zach Vaya, who was trying to chase down Ooms but couldn't, and Ooms made his way into the end zone. That extra point was up and good, make it a 28-10 ball game here, guys. And you guys have covered this team all year. You've broadcasted all the games all year. 28 points at halftime against this team is not typical of Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, 28-10, that's a deficit we don't really see at all, like you're mentioning. And of course, against ICCP being down 40 points and over, that was a complete disaster. I mean, but they came back from it, and it's all about how can they come back at halftime. What's Brendan Curtin gonna do? What's he gonna change up defensively and offensively? Lake Forest, though, offensively and defensively, they're doing pretty good. I don't know what they should change. I don't think they should change that at all. Like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This has been a pretty much flawless game outside of the penalties for Lake Forest. So they like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they have nothing to fix outside those penalties. They've pretty much done the same thing they did last year, which is come right here to this complex and make a statement. As the kick is away, be taken on a hop by Gominski. It was a tough hop for him to pick up. He's going to be stopped. Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, if you're behind the 20-yard line on the offensive side, that's not good at all.
That kick there, it almost kind of it bounced and just died there. You got to think on a cold night. Warm night that ball would bounce and kind of roll to him. On a cold night that ball kind of hit the ground and died, and he had no choice but to pick it up from the 10-yard line and couldn't get any yardage there. Take a look on defense. For Lake Forest, you have John Deering, as I mentioned earlier. He's a guy who he's received an offer from the Air Force Academy, is looking to go to a couple other camps. He's got Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan. Michigan on his radar. But he's a 4-year starter. He's a guy who started since freshman year, so he might be looking to put this game away on defense for Lake Forest. As Hunter Hughes is looking, that pass will be complete.
It's Jake Vaya with that catch.
And Vaya, got the grab there, and you got to think, if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan, if you're a Lake Forest fan, who are the big play guys for RB? Because you need to know what do we have, what can we do to kind of come out and get a big play, a quick strike score here for Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, and I mean on a daily basic game, you would say the X factors for the Bulldogs would definitely be quarterback Hunter Hughes and running back Nick Dell, and of course you got Stefan Gaminski in the back with the kick return. So you'd see a lot of that throughout the game.
Absolutely. It's that catch will bring up first down here, and they're driving for Hunter Hughes in the offense. Looking, he's going to be forced out the pocket and scramble. Yeah, he's going to slide down to about the 27-yard line. If you're RB here, you got a minute 56 here. Minute 56 here, you're going to your 2-minute drill. You got to wonder, as we have a timeout. Brendan Kern's going to call timeout. But as they go into the 2-minute drill, what are you expecting? Are you expecting pass? Are you expecting run? Are you expecting a mix of both here from Brendan Curtin? What do you guys kind of see?
I think the smart idea from Curtin is definitely mix it up a little bit. But if you're going under a minute, I think you definitely got to start throwing it. I mean, I know that's not really working out for the Bulldogs tonight, but that's what you got to look for.
What do you see? Go ahead, Joey.
So far throughout the night, I've seen the Bulldogs being, I think, a little bit intimidated by this team coming in. With being the last seed, I think the Bulldogs maybe would think they would come in and have a good game, but so far right now they're showing them up right now.
And one thing that you may not notice at home, but we can see up here in the stands, is the fact that Lake Forest, they're running a 34 defense. For those of you at home who are kind of football novices, I'll kind of break it down for you really quick. A 3-4 defense isn't something you see typically in high school football. It's 3 down linemen, you have 2 defensive ends and a nose tackle, and then you have 4 linebackers. You have a weak side and a strong side linebacker and 2 middle linebackers. So I don't know if that's playing a factor, which is a different defense, but Riverside Brookfield will have to adjust. He was back in the pocket looking. We swing it out to Del Nodell, and he's not going to get much. It's up to about the 27-yard line. He's able to break a tackle there and get a couple of yards, but with a minute 46 and counting, you need to get the ball up the field very quickly. Those little swing passes aren't going to get much.
Man, it looks like Lake Forest is just going to keep blitzing and blitzing, until they stop Hunter Hughes.
And piggyback off that point, a characteristic of the 34 defense is the blitz, because you have to bring a 4th guy to get pressure. So that's really been a thorn in the side of Riverside Brookfield's offense here tonight. Is your team in Brendan Curtin, like we mentioned, his teams average over 30 points a game, and that's not just his Riverside Brookfield teams, his Nazareth teams, and his entire career. So the fact that they're held to under 14 points here at halftime is huge. And
Eric, you have an experience in the collegiate level of playing football. What would you say is the best way to combat a blitz? How do you counteract a blitz?
Well, one of the things you have to do, which is going to be tough at the high school level, is you want to kind of bring, whether it be a tight end or running back, or you don't see a fullback, RB use a fullback, but if you use a fullback, keep one of those guys in to chip, because that blitz is typically coming from the outside. Your 2 Mike linebackers are used to stop the run. Mm-hmm. One of those guys will spy when you have an athlete like Hughes, and the outside guy will blitz. So you want to use a tight end or a running back to chip. Unfortunately, RB doesn't really have that capability because Del Nodell is a playmaker. They got to give him the ball. And that pass is complete. And just to quickly finish up on that point, I mentioned the chip. Del Nodell did stay in there on that play. He did not go out for a pass. So maybe that's what they're resorting to in terms of helping for protection for Riverside Brookfield.
And there you have it. Minute and 30 running down.
Yeah, the clock is a huge factor against Riverside Brookfield. Hughes will take the snap rolling. He's going to go ahead and run and slide up to about the 36-yard line. He's good enough for first down yardage, but that clock is their enemy. They need to get a score here really, really critically before halftime.
Yeah, and we said before, they had to get at least 1 touchdown before the half, and I think now it has to be 1 more touchdown before the half, because Lake Forest came back in that short amount of time and scored, of course, making it 28-10.
Let me ask you this, Matt, because you talked about it, earlier for a second, that this team does not spend a lot of time behind. The only time they were really behind was against IC Catholic Prep. Does this kind of remind you of that game? Not that they were down 40-0 against the defending state champs, but in terms of the action on the field, do you see kind of that sense of urgency? Do you see something similar from that game to this game?
Yeah, I mean, to put it simply is that, imagine if you have an arsenal of many weapons and they just don't work. They keep getting shut down every single time, and that's kind of what happens for the Bulldogs. Like, their weaponry is kind of Del Nodell and Kaminski, and of course Hunter Hughes. I mean, you know, it's kind of like you got to change up so many things during the game. Like you say, an audible, you know, you got to change up so much.
Joey, what do you see?
So far, I see it. Right now, just Stefan usually carrying the team as usual, doing pretty good, but I just haven't seen a lot of Nick throughout this game. Not a lot of Vaya, and it's kind of hard to believe.
As you see, the pass will be complete to Del Nodell, and he's going to get good yardage there. That's kind of a swing pass that Lake Forest wasn't ready for. The clock is rolling in 1:10 and counting here for, you know, the RB offense.
And of course, you know, Zach Vaya still not getting that ball that much during this game.
As we take a look, okay, now we see that defender coming over. I saw, you know, one of the Vaya brothers there was kind of left open there. It's good zone coverage. As it's low snap, Hughes will take it and roll. He's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. He's got the backside push. He's got to get rid of it and just throw it away. Yeah, he definitely felt that pressure there.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that the defensive side, you know, playing a zone is the smartest thing to do, because you know that Hunter Hughes would like to drop it down deep in the field, but he's getting stopped all over the place.
And he's getting pressure, you know, which is not indicative of a RB offensive line that did a great job last week against Glenbard South. See what they can dial up here. And they're coming out and the timeout. Or no, sorry, they're rolling. Yeah, sorry, we are back to play in action. Sorry. The referee had us there held up a little bit. Now they will punt. Stephen Kaminsky will punt. Lake Forest did not have a man back. They were playing against the fake. And the fake will not come. That ball will take a Riverside Brookfield bounce down to about the 18-yard line and will be down.
Yeah, we saw it last game. You know, Stefan Kaminsky, when he has those punt kicks, it's so deceiving. It looks like he's going to run with the ball when he's about to kick it. You know, he holds that ball right here, and then he just actually kicks it. You know, so he kind of deceives the defense.
So now you see Myslinski and his offense now coming in, and on their last rush, as soon as they got back in after a Bulldog touchdown, they scored. Now they got 37 seconds left. I don't know, maybe they can do it again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they can come back in 37 seconds and push another touchdown, that's not going to look good for the Bulldogs, but I don't know what's going to happen.
See if the defense can keep them now behind the 30-yard line and haven't been able to do that the whole game.
And of course, you know, a little bit of confusion down on the field. They still got the Bulldogs. You know, what are they going to have to do? They got to play that zone defense. They keep blitzing, like I said in the beginning of the game, but they still got that zone coverage for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I feel the Bulldogs just need to give more defensive pressure on Myslinski's offensive line, and he's had a ton of time in the backfield the whole game. He hasn't been pressured at all. Hasn't had to throw it away. Hasn't had to slide or anything, or just been doing comfortable.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's got that much time to roll around on the field. You know, he comes out of the pocket and he's able to get that pass off. And like you said, he's got so much time. And it's
yeah, you got to cut you off there, but we have reached the end of the first half here at Frequency Sports and Frequency TV. The score is Lake Forest 28, Riverside Brookfield 10. The Scouts have really come in here and they've made their mark, guys. I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish up that point there, Matt, that you're making, just get that halftime announcement out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, the Bulldogs, I think offensively they're doing fine. They just got to keep doing those swing passes to Del and Gaminsky to keep this game going.
The defense, as we're going to take a look at some highlights here in a second, but the defense they've been getting gashed. You know, you saw, you know, the Lake Forest offense kind of have their way. You saw Ryan Sakay have 8 catches in the first quarter, excuse me. So that's a big time target that they've got to stop here as we bring us into the booth here, guys. You know, just to finish up on that point, Sakay was a big time target, but what should worry you if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan is the fact that we didn't see him at all in the second quarter. You know, they had other options than Sakay. When you got a guy who's bigger than everyone else at 6'4", 200 pounds, and didn't get a catch in the second quarter after getting 8 in the first, you got to think they can finish out this ball game by going him in the third and fourth quarter, guys.
Yeah, I mean, if they put him in the third and fourth quarter, like you said, 6'4", 225 pounds, I don't know, that's not going to be any good for the Bulldogs. I mean, like you said, him being out and they still had an advantage over the Bulldogs, you know what they can do with him. That's going to be even more dangerous.
And it's a huge mismatch, because the fact that Del Nodell, who's a smaller guy at about 5'10", 5'9" himself, and Stefan Gaminsky are at 5'8", 5'7", are the guys who are covering these big targets. So, you know, he's going to be a guy who you have to look for that mismatch. Like we use the basketball analogy, just throw it up there and let your guy go for the alley-oop. So, you know, you take a look at there and see that, Joey.
See, now we're going to look at the first half highlights of the playoff game here with the Bulldogs and Lake Forest.
And yeah, you guys go and call it from the RB perspective. You know, they jumped out, you know, there as you see Stefan Gaminsky.
Yeah, Stefan Gaminsky, I mean, that was one breakaway they had to get very close to that end zone. And, of course, you know, on that run, the Bulldogs didn't really get that. but they got the field goal, which got them into the game early in the game, 3-0.
And just to, piggyback off that point, they got the field goal, but remember, that was after some penalties. That was where Lake Forest really, it wasn't Riverside Brookfield that stopped them. It was Lake Forest's penalties that stopped them, so they were lucky to get that. And you see Gaminsky there still fighting for yards, saying he doesn't want this to be his last ball game. So I think we're going to get his touchdown catch right here. What do you see there?
Yeah, and there he goes again, slips off that defender, and there was the leap that we saw. I didn't call it earlier, but that was definitely a whamtastic touchdown.
Got to get those whamtastic touchdown calls in there. You see, Jack Lisinski, see, there's a guy right there, 85 Ryan Takei. You can just see he's got that big frame. He's, legs and arms. That's going to be hard for RB to compete against. And as you see, Brian Ooms, another guy who will play his football at Division I AA Butler. He's a guy who will play at the next level, and he's in for a touchdown there.
And you could definitely say that, there's a play not a play action, but that was a run right there.
Yeah.
Another one.
Jacob Thomas, yeah.
And, of course, Myslinski, I think we can definitely say he might be the key player tonight, along with number 85.
Absolutely, and we, like we said, we had a Lake Forest beat writer in here earlier who covers his team every day, and he said that Jacob Thomas would be the guy who would come in and finish the game, but Ooms would be the guy to carry it early on. We've kind of seen the reverse as we'll bring it back into the booth. What we've seen is a mix of both, and that's where you've got to give Chuck Spagnoli credit, because this team here, they haven't had much of a response. And from the Riverside Brookfield perspective, the fans, it's a playoff game, you're hyped up, but think about last year. Does that has to be that's to play in your mind if you're an RB player?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the crowd, if you put it in the perspective of a fan of the Riverside Brookfield Bulldogs, I mean, you got to be thinking, especially from last year, 40 to 7. That's a big loss, and especially in the first round, the fans do not want to see that again. They don't want to see a first round loss, especially be coming in second seed, going against the lower seed. You don't want to see that at all.
Absolutely, and Joy, you want to go insert your thoughts in really quick?
Yeah, especially with this team right here. Last year, you said they were to kick their butt. Last year, I would feel like the Bulldogs would say, "Come in this game, we're going to beat this team this year, and we're going to take back what was ours last year."
Absolutely. As we're going to go ahead and here and send it to halftime. We're going to send it down to our partner Ibrahim Samra, who's got a little halftime expectations. Ibrahim, what you got down there for halftime?
Yeah, guys, I'm here sideline with our principal of Riverside Brookfield High School, Kristen Smantis. Smatanis. Oh my God, people butcher my name all day,
That's
and
okay.
I apologize. But this school its history goes back over 100 years, and just speak of your position here as principal and what are the things that you guys have been able to do since you actually came into the school.
One of the great things that we have been working really hard on for the past couple of years is our technology initiative. And we're a one-to-one school with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And next year will be seniors as well. So all students get a Chromebook. And teachers have been modifying their lessons to really make their experience come alive inside the classroom with the use of technology, but then outside of the four walls of the classroom as well. So we were just named a Google Reference District, and I believe we're about 1 in 6 high schools in the state of Illinois to be that. So we're really excited for that honor, and it speaks volumes to the hard work of the teachers.
And I see we're actually standing on new turf this year. Speak of some of the things, the changes and the new additions that you've been able to do, as well as maybe some things that are coming soon to Riverside High School.
Yeah, facility-wise, we certainly have the beautiful field in the stadium that we had 2 years ago. Last year, we also renovated our gymnasium, so we're very fortunate for that. And then back in 2010, we had a beautiful addition, thanks to the referendum of the taxpayers. And so we're very fortunate to have a beautiful facility.
And as far as the football field, you obviously have a great athletic program. Now, you spoke to me before we went on, and you said something about the conferences and the lack of competition. Do you wish that there was a little bit more competition to give these guys a little bit more prepared for a playoff game like this? Because they faced this team last year, and they had a difficult time with them. And so far today, they've kind of went through the same thing. So do you feel like they should, be in a better conference, or maybe some more teams, or bring some more teams in?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I think, seeing tougher competition early in the season and throughout the season prepares you for a game like tonight, especially with the change in temperature. It'd be helpful if we had faced a little more adversity prior to tonight, but the coaching staff led by Brendan Curtin always does a phenomenal job of preparing the team for whatever they face. So I'm confident that, we'll continue to go at it tonight, and hopefully we can pull out a win.
Now, when you talk about Brookfield, you always think of the zoo. Okay, how have you guys been able to benefit from such an attraction like this, just almost footsteps away from your school?
Yeah, collaborating with the zoo is wonderful. They allow us to go over there, just with 24-hour notice. Our applied zoology class goes over there quite often. We also have some of our transition students who are working on job skills that are able to go over there as well. So they are a wonderful partner, and we try to utilize them as much as we can.
Now, athletics, obviously, to a lot of students are important, but when it comes to academics, where does that rank when it comes to your school and how important that is?
It's incredibly important to us as well. We want to make sure all of our students are well-rounded. We have open access to advanced placement classes, so those are college classes, and last year was our best year with that. We had 78% of our AP students pass at least one of their exams. So we continue to try to encourage more students to challenge themselves in the classroom so that when they leave here, they're well prepared for college or whatever they choose to do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I promise I'm going to get that last name right. I apologize for that, but we're going to have a fun night. Hopefully they can come back. What do you got to say for the team?
Go Bulldogs. Keep at it, hit hard, and I'm sure we'll pull out a win.
All right, that's all we got here on the sideline. We're going to throw it back to the booth right after the break.
Hey, partner, thank you. I'm going to send to break, but, thank you for that interview. It's great to see all those, the principal talk about all the great things going on here at Riverside Brookfield. So you're doing a great job down there for our girl Jacqueline's back in Tennessee. So just to finish up real quick, we got a score of 28-10 from Riverside Brookfield, and we're going to send to commercial break. We'll have for the rest of the ball game, the second half, where you come up here live on Frequency Sports on Frequency TV. All right, thank you for all these guys watching at home. We've had a barn burner of a game here. Lake Forest has come out big time, 28-10, jumping on Riverside Brookfield. And from the RB perspective, what can you guys expect? From Brendan Curtin and the offense, they've got to pull all the stops here to get back in the game.
I'd like to see a little bit more running from the Bulldogs offense. A lot of passing this whole game. The first couple of plays that they had were running. They got stopped immediately, but they've just been passing the whole time. Maybe they can switch it up.
What do you see, Matt?
Joey, I definitely agree with you. I mean, they're so used to running with Del Odell immediately, and throughout this whole game, he's just being stopped immediately from this Lake Forest defense, and it's kind of, summing up the offense for the Bulldogs tonight. They're just getting stopped and stopped. Of course, they had Stefan Gaminsky earlier on in the game, with that touchdown. That's mostly all we can see.
Well, kind of bringing from the Lake Forest perspective, sorry, stumbled on my words there. One of the things you have to appreciate is the fact that whether it's been running, it's been passing, it's been Ooms, it's been Thomas, it's been throwing with Sakay. They've had great ball distribution, and you haven't really been detected a pattern, because you come out expecting one thing, expecting the folks in the play action pass, and they've got all this talent here. One thing that I've noticed is not to kind of short through RB players, Riverside Brookfield, because they've had a great year and they finished second in their division, but Lake Forest looks almost physically bigger. And I don't know if you guys can talk about that. That Lake Forest just looks like, last year they came here and won. This year they're coming in here and they're up by 2 scores. They look physically like the dominant team.
Yeah, it's a huge factor. We've seen on offense and defense, they outsize the Bulldogs, and that's kind of at their advantage, and they're working towards it, and they're doing good at it.
Yeah, and we mentioned, number 85 for the Lake Forest team.
Ryan Sakay,
Yeah, Ryan Sakay. He's got Nick Donaldell playing on defense on him, and that's, like you said earlier, a 7-inch difference. And, of course, if you compare that to, DeMarcus Cousins and Isaiah Thomas in the NBA, it's insane. It's a big difference.
One of the things that I've noticed is, besides the Sakay matchup, who, like you mentioned, Sakay had 8 catches, in the first quarter alone, is the fact that the offensive line matchup, that's where games are typically won and lost, especially in the playoffs, a cold night like tonight.
Yeah.
Riverside Brookfield is getting no pressure. They've once or twice they've stopped them for loss, but outside of that, they kind of had their way, whether it's been Thomas or So you talk about that, it's been huge, especially for a Lake Forest team that they integrated 4 new starters in the summer. So you would think that that's going to be tough. But when you have a cold weather game like tonight, the running game is going to be key. And we see the players warming up here, and the weather's definitely going to play a factor. You don't want to, pull a groin, pull a muscle, pull a hamstring. So take a look at that. With the temperature there, I've got on the screen here, 39 degrees, with the winds coming from the northwest about 5 miles an hour. It's not a typical, windy night here in the Windy City, but that temperature's got to play a factor as far as, maybe running the football. You can't, do too much with the cold weather.
It's about the first game. The temperature was under 50 degrees.
Right, and that's huge, especially for the first game being in the playoffs. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said earlier, the playoff jitters, they get a little bit cold and they're not used to it. They're going to play differently. It's simply put like that. And Brendan Curtin, he's trying his best throughout this whole game, offensively and defensively. He's doing that blitz, and like I mentioned earlier, he would probably blitz an Adam Cater, the tight end for the Lake Forest team, and we haven't seen much of him at all. So, I mean, this Lake Forest team is definitely deceiving the Bulldogs.
So I would say one of the things you want to keep an eye on, a couple things you want to keep an eye on for the second half. A is what will Brendan Curtin, a play caller who in his career has averaged, I've emphasized this point a lot tonight, his team's average over 30 points a night. What will he develop here in the second half? And also, you brought it up, the 34 defense. That's a look that in high school in general, I don't care where you are, Florida, Illinois, Texas, California, you don't see a lot of the 34 defense. They run it, so can Riverside Brookfield counter that? Because the 34 defense is unique. So we talk about that. Riverside Brookfield will kick off. So we'll get back down to action there. It's a 28-10 ball game. Take a look at what we got.
There's Riordan, number 32, with that kickoff.
The ball's up and away, and it's a short kick. This is an onside kick, and it's going to be recovered. Riverside Brookfield with the onside kick, and it's recovered. It's a great momentum. It's saying the staff is wondering if it went 10 yards. That's the question there. Hang on a second, but it looks like it's going to be RB ball. Hang on a second.
That was a very short kick. And that's a little bit of Brendan Curtin with those risky plays that he has under his belt.
And guess what, guys? It was not the fact that it didn't go 10 yards. Riverside Brookfield, you can't line up offsides on a kickoff. As there's a lot of commotion going on from both coaching staffs here. You can hear them here in the booth, but you can't line up offsides. They got the ball back. They got the momentum. You line up offside, shoot yourself in the foot.
Yep.
It hurts.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that's day one they teach you. That's kind of a backbreaker. You don't want to do that. So that's going to hurt you.
With that play right there, Lake Forest wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. They weren't not expecting it at all. Let's see if Brendan Curtin, even though if he's going to adopt the onside kick again, you don't think you can catch him sleeping twice. I'm sure the ball's probably going to be kicked away here.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what Colin Riordan does. We know this man. He's got that boot. He can kick that ball right across that field very hard. Yeah, and the ball's up and away, and that's kind of a pooch kick that he's going to just fall on it right there. Yeah, you see Brendan Curtin, definitely that sense of urgency saying, we're not just going to kick it to them, let their offense run down the field and score. We're going to go ahead and try a couple things here, but Lake Forest will take over. Jack Lisinski and Chuck Spagnola and their offense will take over here on first down.
Earlier you were saying you named about 5-6 guys on the Lake Forest team that are extremely good. For the Bulldogs, we named about 3. Via Gaminsky and Del Nodell and Hughes. And the only 2 of those guys have we seen touch the ball, and we see right here for Lake Forest about 5-6 guys have touched the ball this night and have all gotten points on the board for them.
One of the things for Lake Forest that you have to talk about is the fact that Chuck Spagnoli has a veteran coaching staff. They won't necessarily get rattled under pressure. We're thinking that they may be the team that's down tonight, but they're up and they're driving. As Lisinski will look to throw, and that pass is Ryan Sakay. Big target, catch not much, but it's another catch from that's 9 on the night.
It was a very nice tackle by Del Nodell.
Absolutely, Del Nodell, who's a much smaller guy than Sakay, went right in there and took him down. But on that slant pattern, he'll pick up about 7 yards.
Defense here for the Bulldogs need to step up this half and shut down this offense for the Lake Forest team here.
I definitely agree with you there, Joey. It's almost now or never. I've been kind of casually mentioning that throughout the game, but with it being an 18-point game here, you can't come out and go down 35-10. As Maslinski will keep the ball, and he's going to be good for a first down.
You see, for a quarterback throughout this whole game, he's had so much room, so much time, and the Bulldog defense just can't get to him.
Coming into this game, we talked a lot about Hunter Hughes. He's a winner. We talked about all those intangibles that make a good quarterback. He's a great athlete. Maslinski, he's a guy who, says, hey, I've got something to say about that. He's played pretty flawlessly here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as an underdog, coming in at the lower seed, definitely showing his worth as a quarterback. And you can see at the bottom of your screen, Stefan Gaminsky is covering Ryan Sakay.
And that's where the matchup is going. And that, I giggled there because I thought there might have been a little bit of pass interference. Sakay almost knocked out of bounds there if we get a replay on that. But, that's either way, it brings up second down, the pass is incomplete, and that's good coverage by Gaminsky. Yeah, take a look on this replay here. As we dial it up, you might catch it, yeah. Here's that replay coming for you now. You dial up that pass and, kind of a push almost knocked him out of bounds. That's why he's not in your screen right there. You see him kind of, flailing with arms and legs, but, the pass being complete is the give now to Brian Ooms, who's running strong, but not going to get much. But he gained about 2 or 3 yards there.
Yeah, Stefan Gminski on that previous play with the defensive coverage. Keep in mind, he's 5'8".
Absolutely, and it's that's what you like to see in high school. He's a guy who's a senior. He's not letting size. He's kind of that Julian Edelman, that smaller guy on the field who says, "Hey, I'm not letting anything stop me. I'm coming out here and I'm playing my heart out for my team."
The advantage here, if you make a pass to a guy like that on Stefan, is about 5'7", 5'8". You just throw a pass over his head and he'll catch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we saw earlier in the game, not only is he big, but he's shifty. He's not the fastest guy, but he can make you miss an open space. He's looking here on 3rd down, looking that way. He's going to throw the ball, and it's going to be complete. Turn and shift, but it's going to be taken down. And hey, if you're an RB fan, that's what you got to want. Come out 4th down, and it looks like they're coming off the field here.
And Myslinski, we haven't really seen a very deep pass throughout the night with him. You see a lot of these bullet passes, these shotgun passes, very quick. And, his O-line is definitely protecting him. I mean, he's got so much time to throw that ball.
And he is a very accurate passer. He's a guy who's completing over 75% of his passes on the year. So whatever it is they ask him to do, he completes it well, as they will be punting. And Nick Del Nodell will be back on the return. He's going to get a shot here. Let's take a look. Assuming that's Vaya on the return. The fumbles it. Can he get back on it? He can get back on it. That was very close there, but that's kind of a sign of a guy who's pressing. He wants to make a big play for his team, and almost cost him the ball there.
See there for the Bulldogs right there, had a really good defensive rush on that down, and I think that was the first time that Lake Forest had to punt the ball tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, besides the fact that Vaya dropped that ball, I like the way that Brendan Curtin is thinking here. He's so used to putting Stefan Gminski back there, switch it up a little bit and put your other fast guy, Zachary Vaya, in there.
Either way, that's going to bring up 1st down. He would be glad more than anything they kept the ball there on that fumbled punt there. And Hunter Hughes will be looking to conduct this offense. He's rolling. He's going to get pressured. Wow, right out of the gate, he's pressured and takes a shot. I mean, that's number 57 there for Lake Forest. That's a very large man who's coming down at Hunter Hughes, guys. And
someone's down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, got an injury there. That's not good.
It's number 68 on the Bulldogs. That's Seth Keeling.
Keeling's down. We hope he's okay. Really quick, that was Antonoli Stumo Fisher. That's a tongue twister there, but that's who that was there on the pressure of Hunter Hughes. And it's playoffs, and we talked about the weather and potential injuries, and there you go. You look got one down there right now.
Yeah, and guys, and while there's an injury on the field, we'd like to welcome Loyola Medicine to RB Sports beginning this season. Loyola Medicine is the sports medicine provider for the Bulldogs. Loyola Medicine, body and soul.
And absolutely, and then the Loyola Sports Medicine does a great job here with that at Riverside Brookfield, taking care of these athletes. So thank you to them. And as can't put any pressure on that leg there, that's not good.
Now with the weather, how you guys talk about how it's really cold, how Vaya dropped that ball there on the punt return. Do you think the coldness has an effect on their guys' hands and their fingers, and how, like, if they feel numb or not, they don't have a good grip on the ball?
I mean, Joey, that's perfect. I mean, I said this earlier, the bench, on the sidelines, they're not really doing anything to keep themselves warmed up. They're going out there cold.
Right, and there's been a couple drop passes this game, too.
And again, that's a bad snap there. The toss is out to Nodell. Del Nodell, he's going to take it again up to about the 20-yard line to finish up on that point there. You will see a lot of that, but that also looked like it was just Vaya looking to make a play for his team, because he kind of stepped and ran as he was kind of underneath that punt before he secured it. So, it's a combination of the weather and the fact that you're down 18 points. You want to make a play for your team.
Right.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs take it now, using the shotgun.
He's going to take the snap, and he's pressure right out of the way. I mean, if you're an RB fan, I mean, your quarterback has no time. There's nothing you can do about that.
Offensive line, you need to produce a little bit more on the blocking end. We've seen a lot of blitzing so far from Lake Forest.
And that type of pressure right there up the middle is indicative of the 34 defense, because in the 34 defense, you will see some blitzes from the linebackers outside. But if you're going to get pressure from the defensive line, it's going to be straight up the middle, and that's what you're seeing right there.
They've been doing it the whole game, shutting down the offense for the Bulldogs.
Brendan Curtin not getting too aggressive here just yet. He's going to bring on Gminski to punt. Not quite 4th down territory yet. As you can see, that rugby-style kick. He's going to look like he's going to get a little bounce here. He's crossing the 50 up to about the 43, 42-yard line there. So that punt will, net some good yardage there.
Yeah, and Joey, you mentioned the O-line for the Bulldogs. Of course, we just had Seth Keeling, number 68 for the Bulldogs, come out of the game with an injury. One of their biggest O-line players, standing at 5'11", 255 pounds, he's the tank for the team, and him being out is definitely going to hurt the Bulldogs.
And this offense for Lake Forest is bigger. than the 5'11" player for the Bulldogs, and see what they can do from it. The Bulldogs did a great job on their their outing on their defense here in the first rush.
That's a great point, Matt. You have a team with their offensive lines already struggling, and you lose your biggest offensive lineman, so that's going to play a factor here. Sakay's lined up in the slot, but the give will go to Thomas, and he's going to not get much, up to about the 43-yard line, up to a gain of 1 yard in the play. But for you fans at home, notice something. Sakay, he lines up wide for most of the first half. He lined up in the slot right there, so that could be them trying to work him the ball.
Yeah, guys, would you like to say, as it's almost been 4 minutes down with the quarter, that it's been kind of a stalemate, between the Bulldogs and Lake Forest, both offensively and defensively. They're not moving.
Oh, the fumble here.
And then
the Bulldogs picked it up.
Yeah, it looks like Riverside Brookfield does have the ball. It's a huge break for the Bulldogs. They needed that one big time, and yeah, I mean that's huge.
I think the fumble there was made on the Thomas.
Yeah, it's Jacob Thomas. We'll take a look at the replay. See what we got there. Jacob Thomas gets the guy. Yeah, you talk about that. Hey, Matt, you gave him a lot of love early in the first quarter for his running back awareness. It's just basic running back fundamentals. When you open up the pocket, you got to give it enough room for your quarterback to tuck it in there, and just didn't do it there.
Yeah, and I mentioned how he was comfortable with running the ball. Maybe he was a little bit too comfortable.
Too comfortable there. Yeah, exactly. But either way, Hunter Hughes will be back, and they'll have a shot. Del Nodell sliding, and Hughes is going to be pressured again. He's rolling out of the pocket. He's going to get some to the 40, up to the 32-yard line. A late flag. Yeah, you just said he got the first down, but that was a very late flag by the official thrown in there. Let's see what the call is.
Yeah, block in the back here.
As we're patiently waiting here for what that call is from the referee. Once we get the call, I'll give my commentary, but I think that's one you might want to keep in your pocket because the quarterback's almost out of bounds as you get that call.
And Hunter Hughes being 5'11", 6 foot, being undersized, he's got that braveness to keep running.
He's gutsy. Like we said, he has all the intangibles. He's a winner. He wants to do everything to keep his team alive. But that personal foul looked like I said, maybe a block in the back or a chop block, but it's going to cost him 15 yards. So, it was a tale of two halves. Lake Forest, despite their 5 penalties in the first half, was able to jump out to an 18-point lead. Now Riverside Brookfield shoot himself in the foot now.
That was a great play there by Hunter Hughes, too. Worked hard to get that first down. Gets the penalty, brings them back.
Bring back to the 48-yard line as Hughes will try to operate this offense. He'll take the snap, and he's looking.
He's got time.
Yeah, he's got time, but he had no one really there to kind of get the ball to, and that's one thing you got to wonder if you're a Bulldog fan. Hunter Hughes has been getting pressured all night. Now, does that play into your psyche as a quarterback? Because of the fact that you're used to, I take the snap, there's a guy in my face. Now you get the time to throw the ball and you don't complete the pass.
Right, Hunter's so used to this season having enough time to throw the ball, think for a little bit, and then gets a good play out of it. This whole night he's been pressured.
We'll see what Hughes can dial up here with the offense. He and Brendan Curtin is a talented play caller. See if they got snap, and it's going to be complete.
To the
go ahead, call out, Joey.
Good for about a 7-yard gain there. The Bulldogs brings them 3rd down now.
One of the things about Chuck Spagnoli's team is that they've come out and their losses, the games that they lost, they only lost them. They lost 4 games by 3 points or less. If I can get that point out there. So this is a team that even though they came to this game at 5-4, they really could be 7-1 easily. So they're showing that they are a good team. See Del Nodell in motion. Hughes will take the snap and swing it out to him. He's got to make a play here. Let's see what he got. Up to the 40, up to the 30.
It's good for a first down there.
Good. Absolutely. Good first down yardage. And, we've seen a lot of that motion, but we didn't see the pass to Del Nodell in the first half.
Right.
Now we're seeing it here. So maybe that's a wrinkle that Brendan Curtin can dial up here for his Riverside Brookfield team.
To go back on what you said, how Lake Forest came this game 5-4, and that it's conference there. As you see, the Lake Forest has a huge, better, difficult conference than the Bulldogs do. Bulldogs have a good conference, but I would say there's more competition towards the Lake Forest side there.
As we have a penalty coming up, Matt, do you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on that really quick?
Yeah, Joe, I definitely agree with you. Like you said, Riverside Brookfield Bulldogs, their conference is definitely good, and Lake Forest might have had a tougher conference, and they know how to play against tougher teams, and they're coming into this game against the Bulldogs, who don't really play against that much of a tough team. So they're going to have that kind of advantage over them, physically and mentally.
As we see an encroachment in 51, looks like he was called for offsides. And he's arguing with the ref. He's not going to get his way there. That's one thing. So basically, essentially, what you guys are saying is that, you know, Lake Forest's 5-4 record isn't necessarily, it doesn't equate to Riverside Brookfield's 7-1 record because they play in two totally different conferences where the competition is different.
All right.
And we'll look for Hunter Hughes here to see if he can punch in the end zone there. They're still 20 points off of their season average of 32 a game, so 22 off. And Hughes is rolling, looking long, looking for Gaminsky in the end zone, but it's going to be overthrown. That's, you got to give your guy a shot at, but he's 5'7", not going to win the most jump balls there.
Seen that a couple times tonight. Hughes throwing overthrown passes to Stefan.
Yeah, and that's the second one in the end zone that went overthrown.
As time is really the enemy here for Riverside Brookfield. There's 6:58 left in the third quarter, and they've got to get 3 scores here for them to make this a really competitive game here. And, either way, whether this game, you don't want to get jumped too far ahead of yourself, whether this is the last game for Riverside Brookfield, Brendan Curtin's done a great job with this program. I'll finish that point after the play here on second down.
Using the shotgun there.
He's looking, definitely come out to throw here.
He's got time.
He's got time, he's got to make a play. Pass will be complete to Gaminsky.
Incomplete.
Sorry, incomplete. Yeah, good catch here, Joey. I thought he got it. I thought he kind of cradled that one, but, the referee said that ball at the ground. But to finish that point on Brendan Curtin, he took over for Jason Reek, who went 6-12 in his 2 seasons, and he came in and really, won the heart of this Riverside Brookfield community as an alum. He's well-liked, as we talked about last week, within the community, and you don't want to see this be the last game for them, but either way, he's done a great job turning around this program, guys.
And there goes to show it right there, that drop pass by Gaminsky. There's just missed opportunities for these Bulldogs.
And he's looking long again. Yeah, it's pass.
Incomplete pass, had it.
Yeah. Okay, you can't do that, and that's, you shoot yourself in the foot right there. Via, who took a hard hit, above the neck. You can't fault him for being angry at the hit, but that's a combination of being frustrated at the hit and being frustrated at the scoreboard right there, guys.
It's just seen right here, the penalties that go against Lake Forest. I feel like that doesn't really faze them, and they come back harder from it, and now they stop the Bulldogs from that.
And you see Via, you might not catch it on the replay there, but he pushed the guy after what he thought was a dirty hit, and it wasn't. It was just a bang play.
Yeah, I mean, that you can't do, especially 28-10.
It just shows the frustration on the Bulldogs, but you can't do that. You keep your head up and you got to come back stronger.
Absolutely, especially in high school, where that's something that it might be called a little tighter in a playoff game in high school. It might not be called in a regular season.
We'll bring the Bulldogs back here to 4-20.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what Cardinals going to do here.
That's why you can't do it, because you see how far back. That's a 15-yard penalty, guys. So, and he has no choice but it looks like to bring on the punt team.
Right. Looks like it's going to be a short punt here for Gaminsky.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can pin him down deep and, kind of turn the ball over to his Riverside Brookfield defense and see if they can make a play. But that's a backbreaker right there. And the kick will be away, and we'll see where it can be downed. It's going to go out of bounds about the 22-yard line. And, like you said, that's tough because, it's at a point where it's an 18-point game. You're thinking maybe it's 4-down territory, right? So even if you don't complete the pass on 3rd down, you give yourself a shot on 4th down.
Yep.
You lose 15 yards. Then you're totally out of range.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. I mean, if you lose 15 yards, you got such a slim chance of coming back. Especially
against a Lake Forest offense that's really had their way against this Riverside Brookfield defense.
Yeah, just walking all over the Bulldog defense so far this game.
Guys, personally, as students here, kind of bring me, what are you guys feeling here? Because obviously you're rooting for the home team, and it's kind of tough to see your team get beat like this.
I mean, it hurts because that I know, and I'm not going to speak for Matt, but I think he knows that the Bulldogs can do better.
As Jacob Thomas, not to cut you off that thought, but, he just ran for a gain about 28 yards up to about the 44-yard line. But, yeah, just finish that point there, Matt. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Joey, you couldn't have said it any better, but they are a very high caliber team. They are a playoff team. They can do very good in the playoffs, and we've seen it years before. And it's hard to see them struggle, especially against a team. I know we said the difference between the conferences, but Bulldogs coming in as a 2nd seed, you'd like to see a little bit more from them.
Yeah, as you see right here, Lake Forest, I think, got a holding penalty. That's going to bring them all the way back to the 20-yard line. And that hurts because that was a good run there by Lake Forest, but hopefully that's good for the Bulldogs and they can make them pay for it.
Yeah, so they're going to catch a break there, even though Thomas, as we were talking about, your guys' thoughts on the season, Thomas broke a big run there, but it's coming back. It'll make it, 20 yards, so 1st down marker here for the offense. Mislinski. gives the gift to Ooms, and Ooms is like, hey, you know what? I'll pick about 70 yards of those back right now. We talk about Ooms. He's a guy, for you guys know him. He's a kid with 2 O's in his name, so that's OOMS on Ooms, his last name. He's been a difference maker on defense. Last year, he recorded 7 sacks and 5 tackles for loss, but this season they said that he's such a presence, we want to make him a two-way player, and you see tonight, he's already got a touchdown on the board, and he's driving here for Lake Forest.
Probably uses that big kid, his good strength just to get right through the Bulldogs defense. He's done that tonight so far.
Absolutely. He's breaking tackles here, but hey, RB, they're still showing fight. They're going to stop him there at about the 21-yard line for a loss.
Bulldogs coming to this new half right here. It looks like they came back and playing a little bit harder and stronger and smarter here.
Yeah, well, and smarter outside of the emotional penalty by Via there on, that which kind of cost him some yardage there. But yeah,
right.
Riverside, Brookfield, it's at the point where you want to start maybe concerning the trick plays, maybe the double reverses, maybe a flea flicker, because you got to get a score here quick, but of course, you have to get the ball back too.
Yeah, and, you're saying the trick plays, the onside kick at the beginning of the quarter, that could have been very good for the Bulldogs, and it was just short of 10 yards.
As Masinski be looking, that pass can be batted down. He was looking for Ryan Takei, the big man. That pass was batted down.
Dom roll right there, took down the pass there. Could have saved a first down right there. That was a good defense there.
Yeah, and that was I actually kind of liked the play call by Chuck Spagnoli because he brought his big play target in towards as you'll see the replay here. Yeah, he brought him in towards the line of scrimmage, and when you have a smaller guy like that, you're sure he's going to break a tackle, make a guy miss, and get a first down.
Usually I'm talking about the Bulldog defense throughout the games that I've done up here, and so far I haven't had anything much to say about them besides that one play right there in the beginning that the sack row had, and that's about it.
And the punt is off and will be taken by Via, but we can make up for his penalty right here. He's going to get a shot from about the 25-yard line. He's running, and he'll get about 7 yards up to the 32-yard line, 33-yard line. Get again at 8 on that punt return. Just a couple notes on Lake Forest here. Like we said, one thing about Lake Forest that they had going into this game is the fact that every game's been must win. The last 3 games they were entered it with a record of 2-4, and they advanced with 5-4 record into the playoffs. They have struggled at times on offense, not here tonight, so they really kind of fixed those mistakes. And another thing is that this is their 4th straight year of being underdogs going into the playoffs. So they're used to that kind of presence of, hey, we've got to come in here and we got to strike fast and not play at home. As Hughes will take the snap and a drop by Via. That's not something you see a lot from him.
I've seen a couple drop passes by Via tonight. Usually we see him get a lot of good catches there and good for first downs, but it hasn't been working so far for him.
Yeah, and Eric, you mentioned Lake Forest being 2-4, obviously having to get those 3 wins to make it 5-4, and they got so much momentum coming into this game. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Absolutely. From this is kind of like the tale of 2 halves here. As Hughes is going to take the snap and he's looking and he's got to get rid of the pass, get rid of the ball. And it's complete to Via. He's going to get about 3 or 4 yards, but to finish that point on Lake Forest, it's been a tale of 2 seasons because weeks 3 through 6, they only scored 17 points overall. You're talking about a team that's gone on the road to Riverside Brookfield and put up 28 in the first half. So that may be indicative of, their quarterback, Masinski, feeling more comfortable in the position, or maybe the fact that it's gel as a team. But whatever it is, it's working for them. They've come in here tonight and duplicated what they've done last year.
Yeah, they've definitely over here at this game so far have made this crowd quiet, and that's something you don't really hear or expect.
Absolutely. As Hughes takes the snap, and he's looking just too high for Kaminsky. Almost intercepted. You're right. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you finish that point, Joey.
Yeah, it's Hughes right now is throwing a lot of over-the-head passes to his main man, Stefan Kaminsky, and we don't see a lot of that. Usually the games that we see with Hundreds, a lot of completed passes to him, and it's odd tonight.
Matt, I've talked a lot about what's gone right for Lake Forest. What kind of has gone wrong for Riverside Brookfield? Because you took them a team who they don't, shoot themselves in the foot. They usually play smart, sound, solid football. What's kind of gone wrong from here tonight?
I can tell you the biggest thing that's gone wrong for them is that Lake Forest is capitalizing on those penalties. They get those penalties and drop back, especially early on in the game, and then how they came back and scored from those penalties. I mean, that's what hurt the Bulldogs the most. And I mentioned it earlier in the game how the Bulldogs should take advantage of those penalties, and they just really couldn't. So I think that hurt them the most.
Absolutely, and you see the punt was almost blocked there, but Riverside Brookfield caught a break there, and the punt was down at about the 44-yard line. Lake Forest will take over, and just going to finish up some points here on Chuck Spagnoli. We've talked about how much he cares about this program, and he kind of took over the program under a very weird circumstance where the previous coach was let go after some success. We won't focus on the negative here. We'll focus on the positive that Chuck Spagnoli's done, but he's brought his team here again to Riverside Brookfield, and they're up by 18 points, so he's doing a great job here tonight.
Zaleski ready right here for the play call, the shotgun.
Let's see what they can dial up. Wonder if they keep the ball on the ground here with 4 minutes and we've got a potential false start here against the offense. Yeah, we do have a false start against the offense, so we're going to move him back 5 yards. But with 4:17 left in the third quarter, what are you thinking? You thinking you just keep this ball on the ground and maybe just finish out this ball game, or are you thinking we, maybe strike for another score?
I'd say the Bulldogs need to score.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think the Bulldogs, they just got to switch this game around, turn it around completely.
And that's a start right there. And the Lake Forest offense, to kind of finish that point, they decided to keep the ball on the ground and work the clock. But, hey, that's a huge stop right there for Riverside Brookfield.
Tackle made there by Joshua Rico for the Bulldogs.
Rico made the stop on Jacob Thomas. Yeah, that was Thomas on the carry there.
Now, earlier how you said how the Bulldogs have been catching a lot of breaks with these penalties. Yeah, they have, but they just can't capitalize on them. And it's shooting them in the foot like how you said, and it's not working for them.
And see 44 on the blitz. Riverside Brookfield tried to get in there, but that wasn't going to get there in time. And one of the things you notice, one of the keys about the kind of shotgun kind of belly play there is it costs 44. He wants the blitz directly up the field. He can't. He has to hold his position, his coverage on the side because he's not sure if that play is going to come right back at him. So that's just an observation that I noticed right there on the field.
Yeah, that's definite. I mean, you said number 44, Dominic Rowe. That's the guy that always blitz and gets those sacks. And like you said, he's having a little bit of trouble.
Since he's looking pump fakes, and he's going to have to scramble now. Let's see if he can get rid of the football. Working his way back towards the line of scrimmage, and he's going to make a man miss, make another man miss, and get about 2 or 3 yards on a play that, Riverside Brookfield should have stopped him for a loss of 10.
Yeah, and he went really risky on that play. I mean, raising his right arm up with that ball.
Potential. Yeah, you call on the replay, you'll see it right there.
Very potential for a turnover. I mean, he runs around right here, and you can see his right arm go up and swing around this tackle right there.
Yeah, and once again.
Yeah, he does it twice, and I mean, he's got really good movement.
So it was the first time tonight I think he was under pressure.
And yeah, maybe it would have the first time he was under pressure. And you see him making those moves. You talk about his good rhythm there. He is a great lacrosse player, so he's a great athlete all the way around the field. As the punt will be taken Via, as he's going to get some yards here up to about the 20-yard line. We're late flag there, but before we see what's on that flag, we're going to throw it down to my partner Ibrahim Samra. Ibrahim, what you got down on the sideline, buddy?
Yeah, the sidelines here. No one's given up. No one's given up at all when it comes to Riverside Brookfield. They're still in this game. They believe that, and so does their offensive lineman Damian Durantes. He said, they got to keep fighting. They can't give up. And as far as the offense goes, they're gonna have to score some points. Their defense has been holding it up this whole half. So hopefully for them, they can get a score and get right back into this game. Back to you guys.
Ibrahim, thanks for that perspective down from the sideline. It's great to hear that they're still fighting. They're still, keeping the spirits up and realizing, hey, you got to fight. You got to play 48 minutes here in Illinois to win a ball game. And, right now, it's still about 14 or so minutes left. About 16 and a half minutes left, excuse me. So this game is not over yet.
See, after halftime, I think the Bulldogs buckle down and realize, hey, this could be our last game. We need to go out there and play harder and better. And they've been doing it so far this quarter coming out of halftime.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, I totally agree with you because, I mean, something definitely changed. No one has scored.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Hughes is rolling and looking long. Pass is going to be complete by reception by Via, correct?
Yep,
yeah,
that's Jake Via.
That's the brother Via there.
The older brother of Zach.
There you go, yeah. Be catch for a Riverside Brookfield first down. It looks like the chains are moving.
Also, we've been seeing so far, Hughes has had a little bit more time than he's usually had the first, half in the shotgun. Maybe, the offensive pass here by Hughes. And see how now he has a lot more room. Maybe the offense, talk to each other during halftime. Said, hey, we got to protect Hunter and make him feel more comfortable in the shotgun. I think they've been doing a good job with it so far.
You see them back to the line right now. Brendan Curtin's offense is typically moved fast, and they're moving even faster now with urgency being, of the utmost importance. As the pass will be complete to Via, and he's going to get out of bounds.
Yeah, it's surprising because we haven't seen Jake Via throughout the whole season really get any receptions. He's rarely on the field, except for the last game that we saw him in against Glenbard South, and now, getting some playing time, and he's getting some receptions. He's, trying to help out the Bulldogs team as much as possible.
And that's a guy who, like we said, because of the injury to Devin Moody, he's stepped up and played well, having that connection with his brother there and on both sides of the wide receiver screen. Yeah.
Right.
See how this offense moves here. Hughes going to quickly sneak it, and that'll give him first down yards. I actually kind of like that play call by Brendan Curtin. 3rd and 1. Don't try to throw again. Get that first down yards and keep it rolling.
Bulldogs now take it for a first down here on the, let's see, about the 34-yard line here. Hughes in the shotgun.
As Hughes is in the shotgun, I'm going to toss it here, Matt. What do you think of this offense as the pass will be swung out to Delano Dell, and he'll get some yards up to about the 38-yard line? Your team here, RB, Delano Dell, as far as the running game, not an option. You're down 3 scores. So, how much faith do you have in Hunter Hughes? Can his right arm bring him back?
Well, he seems to be doing it right now with those swing passes. I think those are the only passes that are actually working tonight, because they're quick and they're usually wide open. Those wide receivers are usually open. There's another quick snap to Zach Villa, almost at the 50, but
good for a first down there.
Right around the 46.
Yeah, that was a quick snap, and you also saw that blitz from the 34 defense. It was off from the blind side of Hunter Hughes. You saw him have to roll out there. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great catcher by Villa to advance for a Bulldog first down.
On that replay, though, you could see that Villa kind of waited for the ball to get to him that time, because remember earlier how he fumbled that ball on the punt. He tried to take off early, but right there, waited, took his time, and he got the first down for the Bulldogs.
Hughes operates the offense, and he's going to look. That pass is going to be complete to Villa again. Going to gain up to first down yards, up to about the 38-yard line. Here's something that, once again, you don't want to completely go away from your game plan, but you would have liked to have seen this earlier in the first half, from Riverside Brookfield.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we kind of thought at first, we had a little bit of a prediction after that field goal that they had at the beginning of the game that they would kind of play like this, like they're playing now, but there's Hunter Hughes. He's pressured very much by number 57.
He's got to get rid of the football here. Gets rid of the football, and he makes a throw. It's complete to Villa. Wow, what a play. We'll get the replay of that there. That pass looked like it was up for grabs for anybody, potentially intercepted pass, and hey, luckily it came down in blue and white for you guys.
Jake Villa out there, making moves. Not a guy like how you said earlier, Matt, doesn't really come out, but he's out here right now making huge plays right now for the Bulldogs.
Go ahead, Matt, finish that thought.
Well, he's playing like Devin Moody. They're kind of teaching him to play like Devin Moody because he's taking that spot for him.
As Hughes is looking, throwing down the field. Can he get in the end zone? Oh, just out of the reach of Gaminsky there. Oh, man, that's heart-wrenching right there, just off the fingertips, because that has a chance to, bring him within 2 scores before halftime, before the fourth quarter, excuse me.
You guys were paying attention to the Stefan there. I don't know if you guys didn't see the hit after Hughes threw it. He kind of got tackled. Could have been a late hit. Hughes was down looking at the ref.
And we didn't catch that, but we also see 62 is down for Riverside Brookfield, and he's going to be limping off as the training staff will go there to meet him.
Yeah, and that's Sam Gomez.
And you don't want to lose Sam Gomez at all.
Yeah,
he is one of the key factors on defense for the Bulldogs. Kid who comes in, gets a lot of sacks and tackles. He's huge, gives the defense a good spark. You don't want him out of this game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, Seth Keeling, of course, earlier injured. He's the O-line. Now you got one of your guys on your D-line, one of the biggest guys on your D-line, number 62, Sam Gomez at 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's a big guy, and that's another key player gone.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt, because that's actually the point I was going to make, because you're already down one lineman, but, now you lose another potentially. So that's tough.
Sam Gomez, is one a couple of players of the week so far for the Bulldogs in the athletic department, and there's a reason for it because he's one of the best out there, and if you lose him tonight, that could be huge.
Absolutely. You hate to see injuries overall in general, but especially for a team that's down 18 points. They put together a fantastic drive. They've had every break go their way. You saw that, what was it, like almost kind of I don't know what kind of pass to call that, because he just kind of, as he's rolling out of bounds, just chucks up there for his guy, and luckily he came down with it. You hate to see a guy got the injury.
You see him walking off the field, though. He's walking pretty good.
On his own power, yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Matt. You jump in there?
Yeah, that pass by Jake, that reception by Jake Villa, the way he just wrapped it around his arm. He kind of Odell Beckham it, but, Odell Beckham, he does it a
little bit differently. But, hey, that's still a good analogy. And now we'll stop talking, get you back to the action. As Hunter Hughes has got to get rid of the football. He's going to be sacked.
Sacked right there by number 57. That is Antonili Stomo Fisher.
Yeah, that's the name that I stumbled over there. That's Stomo Fisher. He's a big D lineman down there wearing 57. Yeah, and that's the second time he's made a play here and on the quarterback. And that's, you almost got to, not that you ever want to see an injury in general, but for Lake Forest, it's huge because that stopped the momentum. Riverside Brookfield was driving down the field very efficiently, and that stoppage of play kind of allowed the defense to reset, and they caught their breath, and you got a sack.
As we have a short stoppage of play here because the quarters.
All right, we're here sideline in front of the band. It's really loud over here, but I'm actually standing next to Maria Aguilar. She's actually a parent of one of the sons that play for the team. Maria, It's 28-10. What do you think they need to do to get back in this game?
So what they have to do is just put more pressure on them, and they have to go because I know Bulldogs they can do a better job.
How exciting is it to see them in the playoffs, but as well as your son being part of a team that's been so successful all year?
Oh, I'm very happy because, you know, it's motivating for the kids to be a part of the team, and especially for the school. They keep it motivated for all hard work that other kids are doing it.
All right, Maria, thank you so much. It is loud over here. My ears are going to pop. My IFB is probably already out of my ear. But this game is interesting. Hopefully, we can get a score and make it interesting, guys. Back to you guys. Have fun up there because it's cold out here.
Thank you, partner. You know, better you than me down there. You know, typically, I'm not going to lie, I do miss you up here in the booth, but hey, it had to be one of us down there. That's why you're down there. It's great to see that energy from the Riverside Brookfield fans. As Hughes is looking, and he's going to be second to lose the football. And Lake Forest had it. Riverside Brookfield recover. It's going to be a fight down there for the ball. You saw 52. Oh, that's he's going to be ejected from this ball game if the ref saw it right. Yeah,
that did not look good.
That did not. Yeah, 52 out of frustration there on the play. He threw what was a punch to the back. Yeah,
that's junior Riley Shaw. That's not going to be good.
He's got to keep his momentum. Yeah, it looks like 52. The referee's having a conversation with him right now. We'll see if they cut him a break or if he's going to be ejected from this ball game.
I didn't see what happened. What happened there? I didn't get a good glance of it.
Well, right on the fumble, you know, 52 was a guy who had a chance to recover it, and just out of frustration, he kind of slammed his fist in the back of a player. It wasn't a punch and kind of an intent to hurt anyone. It just wasn't out of frustration. You know, it wasn't a smart play. Either way, it's going to move Riverside Brookfield back, but we'll see if. Yeah, his evening is over. You see him taking off his helmet, taking off his gloves. He knows he messed up there, and his evening is done.
Yeah, it's like it.
Yeah, there was the ejection call right there.
Yeah, you do not want to see that, especially in your first playoff game. I mean, that's not good at all.
And really quick, just to follow up on him, that was Riley Shaw who threw that punch, and he has been ejected. His evening is done. So,
as you have a short break right here, we'd like to thank Loyola Sports and Medicine coming out here tonight, make sure every player is healthy, and who gets hurt, they make them better. And we'll give a shout out to them.
Yeah, Loyola Sports Medicine does a great job. We've talked about them. You know, the wonderful things they do here at Riverside Brookfield, keeping these guys healthy at all sports, not just football, but basketball, baseball. You guys have great facilities out here, you know, and they do a great job keeping the kids healthy.
Bulldogs now here. They got a
fourth and long. Let's just say fourth and long.
Fourth and very.
Yeah, fourth and very long here, and then Gaminski's going to punt. Yeah, you know that play kind of negates any chance of going for a fourth down. The punt is blocked. That's blocked and going to be recovered.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Gathered there by number 51.
That punt was blocked by number 57, Antonelli Stumo Fisher. So guys, yeah, he's been a huge presence. Yeah, take a look at him block this punt right here. Yeah, just got it right off of Gaminski's foot.
Yeah, just really got to give a thanks to the production crew tonight. I mean, these replays have been on point.
Absolutely. As always, we want to thank them for everything they do. You know, we really appreciate the work they've done these past 4 weeks for us. We love everyone down there in the truck and the great job they do making myself, Ibrahim, Jacqueline, and you guys look great here tonight.
Mike.
So now Mislinski comes out here with his offensive line, and they've been doing tremendous tonight, as we've seen. So far, haven't made a lot of mistakes.
Absolutely. They haven't made a lot of mistakes, and they have a chance to really put this game out of reach here. They're going to keep on the ground and give it to Thomas, and he'll gain 3 on the play. But, yeah, you know, with 11:25 and counting, let's go ahead and, you know, for you guys as RB students, I want to kind of, you know, focus on the positive here for Riverside Brookfield, because it looks like their season may be coming to an end short of a really miraculous comeback here down 18 points. You know, what positives did you guys see this year? Because they've made the playoffs the past few straight years, and what good things did you guys see from this team this year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you got these juniors that came in from the sophomore level. They definitely showed their proof, you know, that they can be very good players on this team. And, you know, of course, 8-1 is a record that's unbelievable. I mean, that you can't go wrong with an 8-1 record. So, I mean, I definitely thought they had a very good season. But, you know, there's still time left, and there's a little bit of hope, but, you know, it's not looking too good.
Absolutely. What about you, Joey?
Oh, so far, you know, last year's juniors who are now seniors, the guys are migrating. A lot of my friends, you know, were ready this year to step up, take the seniors' place last year, and come out, have a good season, and win a lot of games. And they've done that so far. 7-1 record. They've made the playoffs, and you know, they've just been excluding the lack of their.
Lisinski's looking long. Not to cut you off there. He's got Ryan Sakay wide open. He's going to get in for a Lake Forest touchdown. That's going to make it 34-10 here, guys. We didn't want to write the eulogy for this team here, but it's obviously I can see the expression on your face. It's tough. When it's deja vu all over again, just like last year.
Yeah, it's not good to see for the Bulldogs. I mean, you could just say they had a hard season and they fought real well, but coming into this game, what do you expect?
And we'll go ahead and call this PAT here, and then we'll kind of stretch out the thoughts here if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan. All the good things that happened this year, because you don't want to end the season on a sour note like this. As the kick is up and the kick is good, we'll make it 35-10 here with 10:15 left in the bug. And we got Ibrahim down there. He's got some information on the sideline. Ibrahim, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go over that whole sequence of what just happened. They had the ball around midfield, Riverside Brookfield did, and they fumbled the ball. Now, before that, there was a penalty. It was a personal foul. From my view, from the sidelines, it looked like you might have seen a punch there, but I think he actually laid his hands on his own teammate because he was so frustrated they couldn't come up on the ball. So, I mean, it's just, you hate to write off the home teams, at this point in the game, but they're going to have to find something. I don't know if it's possible for a comeback now. It's well out of hand. I mean, you can see the scoreboard. It's 35-10, and there's 10 minutes left, but I'm not sure that this thing can be, they can come back, because it's a 25-point lead, and you could see the crowd just leaving right now.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Appreciate that information down there. And like you said, that he may have been hitting his own teammate. We're not sure, because either way, I see 52 on the sideline. He has not returned in this ball game. We did see the ejection symbol, the sign from the referee. So, maybe the referee thought it was a punch, didn't realize it was frustration out of hitting his own man, if that is, in fact, what happened down there. But either way, his night is done, and it looks like Riverside Brookfield's season is done. But, yeah, just kind of finish up what we were saying earlier. If you're RB, you had an 8-1 season, and I think there's a lot to progress. You found a great quarterback in Hunter Hughes. Unfortunately, this will be his last ball game. He is a senior. But talk about what the future holds. I think as a team, they have a chance to go out there and say, hey, this is our conference, this is our division. We were going to go out here and make a name for ourselves. We've had a home playoff game 2 straight years. Maybe if you can avoid the scouts, you advance in the playoffs. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, definitely. Of course, you might not be able to see him on the bench, but number 12, Joseph Shelvin, he's a junior, and you could be seeing him playing in this game, and I think he could be the future of the Bulldogs. I mean, he is a very good quarterback. He's young, and he's learning. He's getting experience at an early age, and I think he would be very good further on.
As some crowd is kind of filing out here, which you still got a pretty good crowd here, but we are seeing a little bit of a trickle of fans heading for the exits here at Riverside Brookfield. Joey, your thoughts on maybe the future for this team here and this Riverside Brookfield program?
Well, we take a look at Zach Vaya, who's had a very good night tonight, and last year as a sophomore, he moved up in the playoffs for the Bulldogs, and I think he's going to have a key factor for this team next year in being like the head wide receiver for the team.
And, that's it from the RB perspective. From the Lake Forest perspective, as we have the kickoff here, yeah, the wind is picking up. That's why the ball is going to be held for the kickoff. A short kickoff will be taken here up to the 30, past the 30 to the 35, up to the 40.
Number 22 there.
Yeah, that's
Joey Carino.
Carino take it up to the 46-yard line of Lake Forest, so a nice positive spark there. But to kind of give you the Lake Forest perspective here, you have a team who made it to the state quarterfinals. So they came in, and you've got to be riding high if you're a Lake Forest fan, because if you're a Lake Forest fan, if you're a member of this team. Because last year they did the same thing, and this year they were the lower seed. The Lake Forest beat writer who was up here earlier told me that this team isn't even as strong as the team last year, but they come in here and win 35-10, or excuse me, I shouldn't say win just yet, but they're up 35-10, and going forward, you got to be very happy with, they're coming out here pretty much injury-free, and they'll be moving on.
Who's here in the shotgun?
He was looking. Got to get rid of the football, looking long. As a man, it's going to be picked off. Yeah, that ball just had too much hang time. It's going to be picked off down there. And you see Hunter, hopefully, he gets up. He has nothing to hold his head down, nothing to be ashamed of, buddy.
There's the replay of that throw, and that's just, it's picked off right there.
Yeah.
Intended Zach Vaya right there.
Pass was intended for Zach Vaya, and it was picked off by number 2, Alex Moss, who's a 5'10", 145-pound wide receiver and defensive back, and you see his hands going both ways there. Offense and defense picks off the pass.
Yeah, guys, I mean, in the play before that, I like what they did with number 22, Joey Carino. He is a running back along with Nick Del O'Neill, and I like how they put both of them in. We hadn't seen Joey Carino have one run play this whole game, You know, it's kind of good to switch it up a little bit, especially when you're down a little bit. You know, you got pretty much nothing to lose at this point.
As Myslinski will take the carry and give it to Jacob Thomas, it looks like there for a short gain. Is this going to, Lake Forest looking just to kind of run the clock down and get out here injury-free? Yeah, we're seeing a piling of more fans kind of heading for the exits here. It's tough to see if you're a Riverside Brookfield fan and we got a penalty, so that carry will actually moving backwards. But, you know, if you're Lake Forest and you're Myslinski, you've got to be feeling good. You know, this is your 4th straight year of going into the playoffs as an underdog, and you make a statement here being 35-10. I don't want to sound biased because I'm not. You know, I'm not cheering for either side, but I'm really impressed with the way this team has come in here. They could have come in here and said, "Hey, we're not as good as last year," but they came in here and made a statement here tonight.
They definitely came in this game with a winning state of mind over the Bulldogs.
Absolutely. You see Ooms just shaking tacklers. I mean, just up to the 37-yard line. And that's, you see his size difference. He's such a big man at 6'1", 215 pounds. You see the kid who will play his football next year, as we said, give him some love at 1AA Butler. And just take a look at this run right here. He breaks one tackle, shifts on another, and is going to make another guy miss right there. That's Stefan Kaminski. He's going to say, no, you get out of my way. And taking on tackles, another guy missed. So he broke 4 tackles there on the play.
Yeah, he did a little bit of a shimmy, yeah.
Little shimmy, everything there, you know. You know, but once again, you know, just really quick on RB. You saw Hunter Hughes after he threw that pick. He was really dejected, you know, head down in the turf, and he has nothing to be ashamed of. He's fought his heart out here tonight, and you know, he's had a great year as the give us to Thomas up to the 42-yard line. But yeah, Hughes is a guy who, you know, let's talk about him for a second. He took over the Riverside Brookfield quarterback job last year after Wakanda and was a winner. You know, that's something that, hey, whether he never plays another down of football again, you know, he's getting recruited, so there's a chance he may play next year. But if this is his last football game, he said, hey, I took over my home team program, and we won games, and we made it to the playoff 2 years in a row, and he has nothing to be ashamed of.
No, did a phenomenal job 2 years for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, that one game when he came in last year against Wakanda, I mean, Hunter Hughes just, he made his name.
Absolutely, as the give is to Ooms for a short game there. Yeah, that's something that, you know, as a former athlete, you can always be proud of, is to be part of a winning team and a winning program. And, you know, that this loss is going to hurt right now, but guess what? You can come back here 10 years from now for his high school reunion and say, hey, guys, we made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row, and we had a heck of a run back there playing football. So, you know, he has nothing to be ashamed of. Hopefully, it's going to hurt. You know, it's going to hurt for maybe the rest of this year, honestly, because when you watch this team advance in the playoffs, but he can hold his head up high.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, just even coming into the playoffs at all, especially at the 2nd seed, I mean, that's an accolade itself.
Absolutely. You know, it's a team that they won a lot of games. You know, as a quarterback, that's all they ask you to do is win games, and he did that.
It's not easy to do it.
Absolutely. As the give will be to Ooms, and he'll take the option pitch, and he'll run past the 40-yard line up to the 38-yard line. And yeah, okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure he wasn't going after 15 there. It looked like he was going to talk a little trash, but he's just trying to get back to his huddle there, so you want to see that. Some good sportsmanship on that there as we see the replay. Quick option pitch to Ooms and makes a good run there. See a little forearm shiver there, yeah. You know, that went both ways. You know, Via saying, hey, I'm still fighting. You know, Ooms is still fighting. You know, they're playing hard. So it's good to see some good sportsmanship after a couple iffy plays there from RB and Lake Forest.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still frustration there, but I mean, it's all about respect and good sportsmanship.
Absolutely. The clock stopped because he went out of bounds, but we're at the 7:14 mark and rolling. And ball will stay on the ground to Jacob Thomas, and he'll gain 3 yards. And, you know, as we've called a couple games, or just kind of lay out for a second, we've called a couple games. We had a game at Ridgewood a couple weeks ago we're going to go out to Ibrahim Sammer. Ibrahim, what you got something down there, buddy?
Yeah, man, I asked for gloves. I asked for hats. I asked for scarves. They didn't give me nothing. But I got these guys. They're going to share their blanket with me because they're just so kind. We might just sleep here tonight because this might be the last night that Riverside plays this season. But thanks, guys, because I don't think I would have made it. What about you guys? Nothing. Oh man, he doesn't like what he sees. He says 35-10, and he's cold. He's like, you know what? We're just gonna sit here and enjoy it. Back to you guys. You guys are lucky. If you guys were out here, you'd be doing the same thing.
Hey, partner, like I said to you on your last toss, you know, it's better you than me down there. You know, we kind of drew straws, and you drew the shorter one, so you're down there, and I'm up here warm in the booth. So, you know, it's good to see some Riverside Brookfield fans sticking it out on a cold night and supporting their team.
Yeah, but that kid down there, he just he didn't look like a happy camper.
No,
Well, he's learning early. He's learning to cheer for the right team, the home team, and, unfortunately, they're going to take a loss here tonight. But, hey, he's hanging tough, so you always got to like that. As Myslinski on a pass play here, looking, and that pass will not be complete. Yeah, this pass being complete will stop the clock at 5:50 here. Personally speaking, I would have liked to have seen them keep the ball on the ground and keep the clock running, because you're not going to break a 25-point deficit with 6 minutes left. But they chose to throw, and that's their prerogative. So Chuck Spagnoli, we won't come down on them too hard. Bring up 4th down. Go ahead.
And it would be nice for Lake Forest to probably put in some of their bench players, I think, too. Of course you want to get the most out of Malinsky as much as possible, but, as much as you can switch it up, is the better.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw their center there was limping to the line there, but, he's up there ready to go. Or, hold on, they were going to have a stoppage of play. It's going to be a timeout, Riverside Brookfield, and you just called it earlier. You said you'd like to see him punt. Well, they came out with the offense out there, and then you saw the punt team rushing out there, and that's why you saw RB with the timeout.
Yeah, they just I think it's the time that Brendan Curtin has the talk that every coach would have with any other team being down by so much at the end of, what could be their season. And, it's tough to see that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think if you're from, kind of give you a little bit of insight from the Lake Forest perspective, you did the same thing this team last year. So, there's kind of no glory in saying, hey, I came in and, stomped them again. It's not something you necessarily want to do, but I can't get in the mind of their coaches and understand, hey, maybe they, some coaches you've played for, I've played for, we all played for, who say they want to keep the momentum going. So that could be the mindset. But personally speaking up here, I like to see them just keep the ball on the ground, go home, no injuries. It's a cold night,
yep.
No more injuries and get out of here. And take their W and take it back to Lake Forest. As we'll see if it is the punt team coming out. We'll have to take a look here. Yeah, it is the punt team coming out, so they will go ahead and punt the football.
Yeah, and Eric, I think to put it simply, what you were just saying, don't kick someone when they're already down.
Yeah.
Via in the back waiting, a short punt here.
Short punt there. Like you said, it's going to take the opposite role and be down at about the 35-yard line. But, yeah, you summed it up short and sweet. Don't kick someone when they're down. And it's tough because this is football. We're all competitors. We're competitive. Those guys down there, they want to kind of put it on them. But, it's the playoffs. You're moving on. Go back to Lake Forest. No more injuries and, call it a night. I'm going to go ahead and, just empty the tank here on the nose here on Chuck Spagnoli. He's a guy who, once again, is in his 15th season. This will be his 89th win overall. They'll push their record, including the regular season, to 6-4. They had a great away record. Tough for me to say here up in the booth. I'm struggling. It's a 4-1 away record for them with this win here tonight. With offensive coordinator Phil DeWalt and defensive coordinator Ryan Carney, as you see, Hughes being sacked there. That was on Hughes was sacked there. Last year, this is a team that lost in the state quarterfinals to Prairie Ridge 71-7. So maybe that's on their mind. Maybe say, hey, we took it on the chin last year in the state quarterfinals. We want to go in, all cylinders firing. So maybe that's, part of the mindset of Chuck Spagnoli as his team will move on here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Prairie Ridge is the team that took the Bulldogs out of the playoffs last year.
Did Prairie Ridge take
the Bulldogs out?
Well, this team lost last year to as you see Hughes on the run there. This team lost last year. Yeah,
2 years ago. I think when I was a sophomore.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So quick note on Prairie Ridge. Yeah, Prairie Ridge took this team out 2 years ago. Last year they did lose to this team here in Lake Forest. So good call there. Good call there, Joey.
And something that surprises me, coming down to 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this fourth quarter, Hunter Hughes still being out there after seeing number 12 Joseph Sheldon warming up on the bench, but they might just have Hunter Hughes, since it might be his last game. It's probably going to be his last game. Just have him play it out.
Exactly. And Hughes, correct me if I'm wrong, Hughes is a guy who does play another sport, correct? He's a guy who does play baseball, or do I have that incorrect?
He did play baseball when he transferred here sophomore year. He played for the sophomore team. Did not play junior year. You'd think he wanted to focus on football more.
Okay, and really quick, we just saw Hughes kind of limping off, so it looks like his evening will be done as it is 4th down. But I also saw a quick limp there on Hughes as he was going to the sideline. But yeah, this is huge for this Lake Forest team. They're going to go ahead and move on in the playoffs, and I think it's a team. If you're the committee, if you're wondering who you're going to play against next week, you got to say, hey, they did the same thing as last year. They're firing all cylinders, so watch out. As Gominski's punt will go to the 30 and keep rolling to the 20-yard line there. But just to finish up here, guys, if you're in the mindset of a Lake Forest opponent here, you got to wonder, especially being a lower seed, they're coming to your house. You know, they're coming to your house next week. You saw what they did last week. You saw what they did this week. You don't want to be that next team to come and end your season at home. That's going to be in the minds of any team that's going to face Lake Forest.
Yeah, I think Lake Forest going to those away games, I think gives them, like, in their minds probably think, hey, let's take this team out at their home and show them that, like, hey, all because you're at home, you can't do anything with us. Like, we'll take you out.
Yeah, and there's teams like that. You know, they're different like that. You know, they play better at home or they play better away.
Right.
And Lake Forest just seems to be playing better away, obviously.
Exactly. They'll keep the ball on the ground there, and it looks like it came out, and it's going to be Riverside Brookfield football. So they'll get, you know, Hunter Hughes will get one more shot, or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be the backup quarterback here. Let's see who's coming out. Yeah, Hughes is. I don't know if you guys see that same thing I'm seeing. He's kind of a bit of a hitch in his step as he's getting out there, but you know he's going to tough it out. This is his last game, so.
Yeah, I mean, on his way to the bench earlier, before that fumble or
It
that
looked like he was
turnover,
about done.
yeah, he was falling down on the ground.
Right.
He just lost his leg.
But
And,
oh no, go ahead, finish that point, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how can he finish out this game? That's all I'm worried about.
That's kind of that warrior mentality. You know, if you're a player, you're not going to say, hey, I can't play. He knows this is his last football game for RB, so he's not taking himself out. But you know, we'll see if he can finish this one out. And he's going to fake the toss and scramble. He's going to keep it for a gain of 1. You can almost tell they're on that run. He didn't look like himself. You know,
No.
he just kind of scrambled and slid. And guys, here for RB, you know, just some final thoughts here. You know, let's talk about some of the other seniors. What do some of those guys have to look forward to outside of Hughes?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you got Nick Delnodell and, of course, Matt Gaminsky. And there's, excuse me, Stefan Gaminsky, not Matt Gaminsky. And that pass was just overthrown.
Almost intercepted, but yeah, finish that thought.
You know, they're definitely looking forward to college. You know, they can move forward on D1, D2, D3. They're looking at football schools, and I think that's the best thing that they can do, especially, you know, they mentioned academics earlier. I think I said this before. They average around a 3.5 GPA. These are very intelligent players, and I think they got a lot in front of them, you know, that can really help them.
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
And a good thing about, you know, a couple of the seniors here tonight, this could be their last game, is Hughes takes us in the shotgun.
He's going to have to get rid of the football here and be incomplete. Yeah, you know, could be. It's 2:58 left, so it's looking like it will be their last game. Do you guys know of anyone who has kind of that kind of offer or potential to play at the next level?
I've talked to a couple people. Stefan Gaminsky, I've talked to him. He said he's got a couple offers for D2 colleges. I'm not sure the ones that he told me. I forgot he told me about a week ago, but he said he's definitely probably going to go to a D2 college for football.
Matt, you know of anybody?
You know, not really, but I don't want to just pick one person. I think a lot of these players on this team have a lot of potential. I think, you know, of course, we got the juniors on the bench, and they're going to be playing next year as Stefan Gaminsky has
make
the
a
ball.
catch there. Yeah, you just talked about him going and make a catch. Go finish that thought, Matt.
And I think they all have a lot of potential. I mean, we're going to see a lot from this junior squad next year, who will be seniors, and I think that it'll be a whole new RB football team.
To backtrack on what I said earlier, a lot of the seniors, this could be their last football game, but a lot of them are still in other athletics for RB. I know Stefan and Nick they play track. They run that. Devin does track and basketball. I know for sure. Jake plays basketball. So
that's something. That's the snap will be fumbled, and Hughes is going to have to roll out and make something happen, and it would be incomplete here. That's something you like to see because, you know, football, we make a big deal about football, and it is, you know, a very important game. It's, you know, it's love. It's almost America's pastime over baseball here. But, you know, there are other sports here that they compete here at this level, and it's nice to know that, hey, football might be done, but I got track, I got basketball, I got baseball, I got, you know, whatever it may be. So, you know, they're not quite done putting on the blue and white yet, but maybe on this field they may be done as a Bulldog.
Yep, and that's 4 5 wide receivers, it looked like, and that pass is just, it's going nowhere.
Nobody.
Yeah, you have a 5 receiver set, but when you have a 5 receiver set and you want to run a quick pass, you're looking for separation quickly. That play you had 2 slants that ran right into each other, so that's why that pass went nowhere in a hurry.
So the Bulldogs here can get a touchdown before this last quarter ends here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it'd be nice for them to get a touchdown, you know, kind of have make this score a little bit neater for the box score. But let's go ahead and give Brendan Curtin some love. He's a guy who I talked about last week as Hughes will take the snap and roll to his right. That pass will be a fade pattern to be to back in the end zone intended for Gminski, incomplete.
Yeah, Hughes had number 17 open on his team there, the mystery player.
We got a couple of those that, we'll have to show some love eventually. Brendan Curtin, he's done nothing but fantastic things. Really quick, as we got 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, let's talk about Brendan Curtin and the job he's done here with this program. Is he well-liked? Is he a guy? How's he receiving the community being an RB alum and taking over this program?
I mean, I can just see it, the atmosphere in the hallways. I mean, everybody loves him. I mean, he's like that little gentle teddy bear that you see sometimes. He's a very nice person. He's a very stern coach. He talks to his players and he makes sure they're all right. If he sees something wrong with them, he cares about his players, and I think he definitely deserves the spot that he has, and he's definitely brought this team up.
As we saw really quick, we see a halfback pass. It was going to be incomplete, intended in the end zone. But go ahead and give your thoughts on Coach Curtin there, Joey.
In the beginning of the season, I think it was in the summertime, he's really good at bringing the community together. And this year, it's 100 years of Bulldog football, and he's brought back past alumni who's played for the Bulldogs, including himself, and just talking about how the game was back then, how he would, be on the sidelines and stuff watching games. If any players left anything out, they take them, and just the history of the Bulldog football organization.
Whatever we can say about this Bulldog football team, we can say it's going in the right direction under Brendan Curtin, so that's a positive. Just to kind of go and transition here to Lake Forest. Something I made mention of earlier is that this is a team that had a bonding trip. They went over to Wisconsin and stayed there for 4 days, and that really helped this team gel. And you got to think, for a team that lost starters on multiple sides of the field, they looked like almost a quarterback sneak there, just kind of keep the clock running. This is a team who, they lost a bunch of starters from last year's team that made it to the state quarterfinals, and they've managed to do the same thing again this season. So when you have things like going bonding for in Wisconsin and, things that really bring a team together, when it's time like this, when it's time to go on the road and win again at a place like Riverside Brookfield, things like that, they matter. They're not just cliche, they really matter.
Like how you said, they went on that 4-day Wisconsin trip. That kind of reminds me of the movie, Remember the Titans, how, the coach there, they took them out of the state or whatever, took them for a bonding session to practice together, and they got to like each other and love the game and go out and win.
Absolutely.
Just like this team.
As we see another short yardage gain there on the play. And yeah, we see them kind of run this clock out with 1:40 and under. But, Chuck Spagnoli, he's done a great job. He inherited, a quarterback who didn't play quarterback last year, was a wide receiver, transitioned him into a quarterback, has made him a winner. He has a veteran coaching staff, as I mentioned before. Mike McKay was a head coach at Indian Trail for 5 seasons who made 4 state playoff appearances. So it's a very veteran staff, and they're going to have this team ready. They had them ready to go this week, and they'll have them ready to go next week with whoever their opponent is.
Yeah, most definitely. And sorry about backtracking here, but on that 4-day trip, of course, I have a friend down there on the field. He's on the bench. He's number 23, Connor Pitts. He's a junior. Yeah, and I remember when he went on that trip and he came back, he's like, yeah, man, he's like, I met guys on the team that I'd never met before. And he's like, now we're like best friends. He said, we'd wake up in the morning, 4 in the morning, they're blowing whistles and everything, waking us up. And he said it was a very good trip, but, they learned a lot and they practiced a lot, and they all, like you guys said, they bonded together and they become a better team.
Absolutely, and you see, that's what I'm talking about right there. When you say, hey, I typically, this is still high school. You hang out with your friends. You have a certain kind of set friend group, even if it's a football team or not. You may not know the guy on defense. You may not know, the offensive lineman. But when you have a bonding trip like that, you get to know everybody. You're forced to. It's you against the world almost, and it's good to see that carried over into their football season, and now their football playoffs, and they're still moving on with a minute 6 left in this one, but they will move on in the playoffs.
Talking about how they bond and stuff, they have a thing for the football team. They call each other a family. There's a meaning behind it. I'm not sure what the meaning is, but all of them they're like a huge family. They all love each other.
Absolutely. The give will go to Thomas, and he'll get a couple yards here. You're going to run this clock out. Just really quick. We typically don't have a chance to do this in the broadcast. I want to thank everybody in the truck who does a great job here. They're running back and forth. The things you don't see. They're running, fixing our equipment. They're getting IFBs ready. They're making us look good in the pregame. They're chopping everything together. So thank you guys. We really appreciate your hard work. And hopefully, if this is the last game, thank you. Hopefully, we'll have another one. Maybe we won't. We'll see. And we're going to toss to Ibrahim really quick. Ibrahim, you got it, buddy.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, just like you guys been watching up there, down here, it's been the same story, 35-10. It's been a hard hard loss because a lot of these fans are passionate and they want to see their team play again. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to do it. Lakeview, as you guys seen up there, they've just been on every facet of the game on point. And, for Riverside Brookfield, they just haven't been able to figure it out. So, they're going to go home and lose this year once again. But for Lakeview, you can't be happier to see your team play well on every single level of the defense, offense, and special teams.
For that report down there, and you can't feel, like you said, if you're a Lake Forest fan, you got to feel ecstatic, over the moon for the fact that your team, they've done it again. They've come here to the Finley Athletic Complex and they've ended the Riverside Brookfield Bulldog season. Yeah,
and Eric, you were thinking the production crew. I'd like to thank them as well. And I'd like to thank a TV teacher at our school, Gary Prokes, of course, giving me the opportunity for the last 3 years, announcing all this, and I love it. So thank you very much. And there's the kick, and that's really shallow.
Yeah, it's a shallow kick as the ball will be taken here with 17 seconds left in this ball game. And you know what? It's nice to see we still got a decent amount of Riverside Brookfield fans left. I'd say about a third of them have filed out and made their way. Maybe the cold has something to do with that, but we got a lot of parents here. They got their kids on the field, and they're trying to ride it out, and you love to see that. So can't fault that at all. As we'll see who's coming out here for the offense. It'll be Hunter Hughes. You know what? Hey. He's still kind of limping out there, but he toughed this one out. He's a winner. In my book, I don't care if he's going to take an L tonight. He was a winner as a quarterback, and he's been a great athlete. It's been a pleasure to see him perform these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, a very good player. It's been, like you said, it's been an honor to announce for him, and he's a very great quarterback.
As the give will go, and it'll be fumble, but we'll see who has it. Is it Lake Forest? It's been that kind of night for Riverside Brookfield. And yeah, the offense is coming off, the defense is coming on. Lake Forest hey, in my open, I said that it was 48 minutes from now we would see who's moving on. Lake Forest will be moving on, but if you're a Lake Forest fan, it was really 48 minutes of domination outside of a few penalties. Yeah, go ahead, Joey.
Just completely just shook the Bulldogs tonight, just destroyed their offense and defense, and the Bulldogs weren't ready for it. They came back and they came here away, and they just hit them hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it was 48 minutes of domination. A couple penalties that kind of hurt them all early on. And let's recap. We will do that with our post-game recap, but I'm going to do a quick note on that right here. When they held them to 3, when Riverside Brookfield, held them to 3, you thought that was key because Lake Forest really shot themselves in foot. Lake Forest really shot themselves in the foot with some penalties, but they managed to overcome their own mistakes, and really just. It was a dominating win. On the ground, through the air, bigger, more physical team. They did a great job tonight.
Team that scores first, as a key factor to the game. We scored first. That gives them a huge confidence. But Lake Forest just came and just hit them harder.
Absolutely. Matt, your final thoughts here as we end this one. Then we'll go into our final game highlights.
Yeah, and they should be taking a knee here, but Lake Forest, of course, with those penalties that they had earlier, they took advantage of them in a way because they capitalized on them. They went back and they earned those yards and they earned those touchdowns. So it was just tough for the Bulldogs to come back at the overcoming of the penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. This Riverside Brookfield fan base, they're standing up giving this team a nice standing ovation as their season's done. I'm going to keep an eye here on this handshake line because it can get kind of testy down there. As Ibrahim will try to grab a word with someone from Lake Forest. I see him getting ready down there. Let's take an eye on this real quick because it can get real testy. Yeah, you see, I think it's a smart move by Brendan Curtin. He's talking to his guys, letting them know, hey, season's done. Shake their hand and let's go home.
Yeah, it's all about respect. At this point, you shake every player's hand, and that's all it comes down to. It's just good sportsmanship.
Yeah, right now the Bulldogs played their heart out this whole season. Really good game tonight. Maybe it could have gone a different way for them, but so far it wasn't a letdown season at all. They came to 8-1. They lost that one conference game, but they played great. Great group of kids, and they know how to play with each other.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to watch this Riverside Brookfield team perform in, Lake Forest. This is their first appearance here on Frequency Sports, with the final score 35-10. Just note that really quick. This is their first appearance on Frequency Sports, and they made a heck of a statement. They came in here and did what they did last year, which is, beat the Riverside Brookfield Bulldog team as the handshake line commences, and you'll see, led by a guy number 5 there, Brian Ooms. He's pumped up. He's ready to go. He says, hey, I'm not ready to go to Butler just yet. College football's on the way, but I got some unfinished business here in high school. They're making a push for a state championship. They were, the quarterfinals is only 2 rounds away from the state title game. You know, they're looking to get back there.
Yeah, and guys, you know, as much as a fan of, as I am as of, you know, RB, I got to congratulate Lake Forest, you know, because they played a very good game. I mean, the way that they played and overcame those penalties, and, of course, you know, the quarterback, Jack Mislinski.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, it was just a great night. That's all I could say about that.
And your final thoughts, Joey?
Yeah, it's Lake Forest, you know, really good athletic program. I know just when I freshman year basketball at the tournament, RB Bulldogs played them at the Jack Tosh Holiday at York, and it was RB and Lake Forest in the championship game, and Lake Forest, they pummeled the Bulldogs. So, you know, it's really good athletic program.
All right, Ibrahim looks like he's going to have some perspective down there from the field. Go ahead, Ibrahim. What you got down there, buddy?
We're with Coach of Lake Forest, Chuck Spagnoli. Chuck, you guys have played well all year, and maybe your record at 5-4 doesn't show. You guys play in a tough conference. You guys were here last year as the underdogs. How are you guys able to get another win on the road here at Riverside?
Well, I think, you know, some things happened early in the game that gave our kids the advantage. You know, we drove the ball a little bit and scored, and defensively we got an opportunity to take a little bit of their running game away, which is really what they've done most of the year. So, you know, we're fortunate. I got to tell you, though, the team here, they got their program going in the right way. Obviously, what have they lost? 3 games in the last 2 years in the regular season? I wish to God we had that going, but we don't. So
going forward, what are some of the things that you guys may need to work on or look forward to as the postseason goes on?
Right, it's a great question. I mean, you know, turnovers are always a big thing, and we need to do a better job securing the football. And then defensively, we need to do a little better job with our pass defense, obviously. I mean, they threw the ball all over the place tonight, and it's hard to defend when, you know, you don't get pressure on the quarterback. So that's an important part of everything.
You know, they gave me the option to talk to anybody on this field. And, you know, I'm like, I want to talk to the head coach because it seemed like every single facet of the game that you guys played well in. I mean, special teams, defense, you guys created a lot of turnovers, offense, you guys executed. So speak about some of those things and how you guys were able to muster up there.
You have to give the credit to our players. I mean, our kids concentrated and focused, and they did a nice job this week getting ready for the game and preparing themselves. So you give all the credit to the players. The coaches are just there to kind of, you know, direct it, but the kids do a great job getting ready.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you
so much. You have a nice day.
Have a good day.
All right, guys, back to you guys up in the booth for the final call. That's it for me, Ibrahim Simon, for Frequency Sports and Frequency TV. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ibrahim. And you know what? That's classic Chuck Spagnoli right there. You know, you hear a veteran coach say, hey, you know, we could have done better. We could have done this better. We could have done that. We could have cut this down. But guess what? His team came in here and they got a victory tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely words of wisdom. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better than the head coach. I mean, they came out and played their hardest. RB came out and played their hardest. And like he said, it was a tough team to beat. And, of course, you know, I want to thank the RB team for giving me such a good season to announce. I mean, 8-1, it couldn't have been any better. So, go ahead, Noah.
All right, and now it was really good saying by the head coach there for Lake Forest, giving the credit to the players. But now, you know, end of the night, we're going to throw the highlights now for the game for the Bulldogs and Lake Forest.
Yeah, we'll go and take some of those highlights, see what we got. Yeah, you know what? Overall, like Ibrahim was saying, Coach Spagnoli, as you see number 22 there on the run. It's our
Carino.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, RB, they fought their hearts out tonight, but just really quick to piggyback off what Chuck Spagnoli said, they made a couple mistakes, but, you know, classic coach speak. You're not going to sit there and say, hey, we played a 100% flawless ball game, but from up here, our view in the booth, you know, his team couldn't have done much better besides the penalties.
Yeah, most definitely. And, you know, of course, Hunter Hughes playing out his heart, you know, throughout this whole game. We saw earlier in the first highlight of Joey Carino switching up running back, and there was the defense from Lake Forest. I mean, just stopping everything that the Bulldogs tried doing. There was a little bit of a nice throw.
Yeah, there's 85, Ryan Sakay. We can't talk about enough of him. I think by my count, he had 11 catches tonight. I mean, you know, we talked about what you thought Lake Forest is going to do coming here tonight. You didn't exactly see a lot of that, but when you get a guy 11 catches, which is he had 28 catches the entire season. I mean, that's incredible. So
yeah, I mean, I think the key player tonight, though, for Lake Forest definitely was Jack Mislinski. I mean, he had such a great night.
Absolutely.
And I mean, just the way his IQ. I mean, his passing IQ is just amazing, and the way he can run. And there's number 5.
Brian Ooms, yeah. You see, and just to make note, we've talked about the size difference. That's such a big player right there, 6'1", 225. You know, so that made all difference. Maybe, you know, the one thing tonight that made the biggest difference was size. Yeah. We talked about it, and maybe that made the biggest difference. Lake Forest, that wasn't a 5-4 team right there. That was a team that, you know, came in there ready to make a statement, and they did. And, you know, And we're going to go ahead and, give this night an end. Final score, 35-10. For you guys, thank you for all your hard work here tonight. Thank you for watching Frequency Sports on Frequency TV. Final score, Lake Forest 35, Riverside Brookfield 10. Thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody.